All right. Welcome, everyone. Everyone present and everyone at home. We're going to open the meeting. Are we going to go in order?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to start with agenda item number 1. Septic issues with Steve Donatelli. We have 2 properties that are currently in failure.
Steve, are you on?
Yes, I am on. I'm on the phone. I couldn't
I don't see.
log in.
Oh, that is his phone number.
That is his
I
phone
was
number?
gonna say,
I'm
I
pretty
I
positive.
think so too, 'cause
Yeah.
I have it
All
on.
right, Steve, if that's you, we're not getting any audio.
You don't hear me? Okay, can't hear me?
Jason Kuda says you can hear him on his side.
Yeah, I can hear him. Can you guys hear me?
Down on TV by chance?
Yeah, that's his phone number.
Can you hear me?
What's up?
Yeah,
Jason, could you
Steve,
say
I can hear
something?
you.
Okay. Is everybody hearing me or?
You guys need audio.
Why is he?
Yeah, Jason, it appears we have a problem on this end because we're not hearing you either. Hang on 1 second.
When in doubt, reboot.
I'll use this.
I do that all the time.
How about now, Jason?
Can you guys hear me now?
There we go. All
All
right.
right. All
Thank
right,
you.
Steve, go ahead.
Hello, you hear me?
Hello,
Yeah.
Steve. We can hear you and see you.
You see me now? Okay. I'm able to get on. All right, now you can see me.
To unmute yourself, press star.
All right. Everyone can hear me now
Yes.
and see me? Okay. So which site are we going to be starting with?
Let's do 10 Northbridge first.
10 Northbridge. Okay, there's a field cesspool in the on the property. It's in failure. It has to be upgraded, replaced. I think there's a pumping schedule. Jack had mentioned that they are on a pumping schedule of, I believe, once a month. John Gibson mentioned that would be probably adequate to maintain that cesspool, so there wouldn't be a health hazard. But they do need to move forward with the replacement of that system. It's in total failure. So the property owner would have to contact an engineer and move forward with the engineering portion to move forward with the replacement of the system.
I believe the property owner is in contracts with land planning. I contacted Betty from land planning to confirm. I'm just waiting a response back. So that is the plan so far, is he's going to
Okay.
be working with land planning to get a septic design.
All right, so they have contacted an engineer, so they are moving forward. That's good.
Right, and in my discussion with the property owner, it was just a matter of him forwarding them a check for $1,000 down so that they would start work.
Okay. So as long as they do that, I guess they can move forward with the design phase. And the sooner they get this moving, the better.
Before winter comes in.
Yes, agreed. You never know what weather will hold that back. If we have a harsh winter, they may not be able to put it in until next year. So it is time's important in this matter. If they get
Correct.
moving on this.
Okay, so what I'm gonna suggest, if I may, is Jack, where you work on Friday.
Mhm.
If you haven't heard anything back from land planning.
Yep.
We definitely need some form of written confirmation that the deposit has been received and that the engineering work is gonna begin.
Okay.
And if we have to, an email to the property owner of, a reminder that it's urgent. The seasons are gonna change on us.
Yep.
He came in today. Also, I spoke with John Gibson as well, confirmed that, he did in fact pump it. The property owner has been very cooperative, very conscientious of the, failure of the system and wants to cooperate. He put the fence around it, and he also brought in some loom and built up a berm around
That's,
it.
is
It's
that,
10 Northbridge.
Oh, ten,
yeah,
oh,
right.
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Sorry.
Right. I was just
I,
gonna
yeah,
say-
You're jumping the gun.
yeah, jumping the
We're on
gun.
the wrong- we're
I
in the
spoke
wrong-
with that property owner as well, excuse me, and he is very conscientious as well. And I also spoke with John. John said that he could probably sustain a 30-day pumping schedule, but that we would continue to monitor it, as will John monitor it
Okay,
as well.
and John knows the importance of getting those
Yes.
records to us as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Okay,
We have the pumping record for Northbridge Road. The property owner texted it to me.
okay. All right, so if that's it on that address, we can move to 40 North Ave, Steve?
Okay, 48 North Ave is a very similar situation. It's just a little bit more dire. John Gibson pumped that out, and I guess he mentioned that it's probably not going to be adequate on a 1-month schedule. Probably gonna have to watch it and pump it more often. So they as well have to get on a schedule moving forward to hire an engineer and get a new system in the ground as soon as possible. That cesspool is out near North Ave. It's not far off. There is a fence around it right now, a construction fence, keeping people out on the area that's affected with a failing cesspool. There's a little berm built up around it, holding back any effluent, but it needs to be pumped quite regularly. I don't know how often right now, and neither did John, I believe. But they do need to move forward, hire an engineer and get this moving as well.
Any idea how many residents are in that?
That's, I just was going to
That
ask her
property?
that, yeah.
Two? Okay, so
There
fortunately,
two of them are there.
both-
Are they
both
both
properties-
Audis? Are they both, are they the Audis?
Yes,
Yeah.
the grandson.
okay.
Okay.
So fortunately, both properties only have a few occupants, which helps a little bit with the total water flow on a daily basis. Steve, did they, are they, the homeowner aware that they need to, contact an engineer?
Yeah,
I'm not aware if they are or not.
yes, we issued a letter stating that you need to provide septic pumping records and also get in contact with an engineer because it is in failure.
Okay,
Because he came today.
He came
to
in
the
today,
office.
yep, and we had a
Okay.
conversation with him. He is another one, he's been more than cooperative.
Yeah, no,
well
that-
aware of the
that's great.
situation. And he's, when I spoke with John too, John also said that he didn't believe that that system would sustain a 30-day pumping schedule. It would be more, he said, start with 21 days. I go by it every single day, and I spoke with the property owner today and let him know that I'd be monitoring it myself. And he's, you know, like I said, more than cooperative
Great.
and
Yeah.
acknowledges that he needs to maintain it.
going up North Ave, is that the right or the left?
Left.
Going up, no, I thought it
Well,
was the
up
right.
from the light,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, on the left-hand side.
It's on the left?
Yeah.
Why did I think it's
Yes.
on the? right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for some reason I thought the odd numbers were on the left,
No, it's on the left-hand. If you're from the light, you're coming up
Yeah.
from 16 is
Yeah.
on the left-hand
heading
side.
towards the school.
Yep.
Okay, on the left,
Huh,
all right.
I thought it was the other side of the street.
Those
the
three
Audi.
little houses, they're little capes,
Right,
they're right in a row. And matter of fact, he used to own the one to the left of it as well.
Okay, so that's just past, was it Weston Ave, the dirt road?
Yes, it is.
Yep.
oh,
right, yeah,
I'm
those-
thinking of the Audi house that's down on, not that, you know, I'm thinking of the one that's almost across from the school there.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's further up than that, on the opposite side of the road.
Okay, all right,
Right, it's different,
It's tan.
Uh,
yeah,
different
Yeah,
address.
Three in a row, I know the
Yeah,
house.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
me too.
Yep.
and I think the water table is pretty high up there too.
Mm.
I'm in the right place.
Yes.
All right, so fortunately for both of these properties, you've gone out and inspected them. Everybody knows what they need to do. And I guess fortunately for us, Gibson is on both of these. So we only have to contact one person if, things aren't getting done, the right way.
Mhm.
Tom, any, comments on these, issues?
Sounds like they're moving along. Satisfactory?
Anything else we need to know, Steve?
I don't believe so right now, as long as they, keep it pumped and move forward with the, they have engineers contacted and, on schedule to move forward, then probably all we need to do right now. Just monitor it. Make sure, the pumping is adequate for now.
Anything else the board can do for you or anything you need to consult us about?
Right now, I should be contacted once they have the engineer for the perk testing, and take out a permit to do the perk testing. We should be on board now. I'll know that when Jack lets me know that the permit's been taken out. And then I can contact the engineer and get that moving as soon as possible.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions for Steve?
No, that's-
Nope.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Have a good evening.
You too.
It was well.
Right. So we will move on to item number 2, Marshand Environmental Septic Hauler Permit. Come on up. Is Michael Junior gonna join us?
Oh, he's out on a trash route and with all the weather that we had, he couldn't make it, so
Okay.
I told him I'd go. He had a rough day, the storm.
All right. Let's see. I'm sure we all probably have some questions as to what's been going on with the permitting. Does anybody want to start or do they want?
Well, I actually probably would defer to Mike to kind of fill us in on where you're at and what you need to be doing and how things are going.
So I guess the first thing it says, we're not sure why we're here.
Okay.
But I will say that, staff has been awesome to deal with.
I love Jack. Sorry to interrupt, but Jack's very informative.
He's ours, you can't have him.
Sorry.
Everything's for sale.
No, no.
It's all negotiable.
As I understood, there was, say, Colleen, right?
Yes.
I think Colleen I spoke to last and certainly spoke to Jack a couple of times, but I think there was an issue with the letter that you had, who was receiving the dumping, a third party, and it didn't have the title of that individual, a managing partner, and I believe that's been corrected. So to be honest with you, that's all we're aware of.
Okay. I guess I'll give you a little history. Right? A number of years ago, I'm gonna say 4, 5, 6 years ago, Mr. Marchand and his son, Michael Junior, came in and the Board of Health they were applying for a permit. They came in with their then attorney. I don't remember what the gentleman's name was. And it was explained to the Board of Health, and 2 of the members of the board are still present. One member is not. It was held downstairs in the old Taft Library at the conference table. And we were told that Michael Junior was taking the company over and that he was going to carry on his uncle's legacy. Because unfortunately, Michael had some bumps in the road. And he was going to be in the background. Michael Junior was taken over because we were very reluctant to issue a license at that time because of Michael's past history. So the way things were presented to us, we saw fit to give Michael Junior an opportunity to do what he wanted to do and to do it right. So I guess I'm a little confused as to who's running the show and why it seems as though history is repeating itself.
So my understanding is Michael Junior is in fact.
The owner of the
owner
company,
of the
yes.
company.
He is the owner of the company.
So I guess I'm not sure. I'll be honest, I don't know what the past issues were.
Right. I understand you weren't present.
But if you're saying that they're repeating now, then I'd ask what are, they, so we can address, them.
Okay, well,
Assuming that they're in fact accurate.
we're not, and Jack, correct me, because you're the man in the office on a daily basis.
Mhm.
No permit for 2022,
Correct.
yet he operated in 2022, so he owes the town of Mendon money and certificates of insurance for that year.
And how
If,
much-
if not, I mean, I don't see a reason for him to fill out a permit at this point. So he's been operating illegally against Massachusetts law. Same thing for 2023. It's September and he's just getting his paperwork and his fees in order, yet he's been operating, even though I believe a cease and desist was issued.
Mhm.
So he's just not following the program. And the program is the same in every town.
Sure.
So we gave this young gentleman an opportunity. And I'm a little confused as to why, again, things aren't being followed the way they're supposed to.
So first, for 2022, what is the owe for money?
If you want the money back, it'd be the $100 just for the permit.
Okay, so he owes $100 for 2022 due to the town of Mendon Board of Health,
Paid it?
right?
Paid it. Yes, we did pay it.
Okay.
What does he owe for 2023?
He's indicating me that he did pay that.
We did pay it. This was before Jack, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I came in May, so
It was paid to Missy.
Okay,
So we'll look into
If-
that.
if-
yeah,
it
and
wasn't-
we'll
it wasn't application.
also look into it to make sure that we're not falsely saying
Well,
that he didn't
just-
have a permit in
Yeah.
2022.
we know you're not falsely saying it. You might be incorrect and you might be correct, but we know we know that's all good intentions. Okay, and then the permit for 2023. And I know that, that has been a bit slow. There was some issues with a vehicle and frankly, I think he needs help in his office. I think the company is a bit,
Too big.
yeah, I think they're a bit disorganized. They've probably grown faster than they anticipated and I think they do need to get some help in there with paperwork. I don't, in my time as counsel for them, Michael here and Michael Jr., they're workers. They're not paper pushers. But we all know how important that is. So I'm not sure that I'm here to make a defense other than I've already had this conversation with them. They have to make some improvements. And I think they're working on that. So are there, so we've applied for the permit here in Mendon and I think, have we been issued it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. I just.
no, you're not getting a permit until the board approves, until their satisfaction is met. with-
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that's why we're here.
So
I
let
think,
me ask, I know we have, and I don't know if they've been privy to the email outline
Mhm.
that we have. I don't know if you have a spare.
Yeah, mine.
that
If
they
not,
can-
I'll give up my copy.
So, what was prepared is just as kind of a rundown of communications that kind of goes back to August 12th, 2022, when some of these situations started to occur. And I won't go through speak through the whole thing, but,
Yeah, I'll obviously need some time to
yeah, to
absorb
kind of
this.
absorb it, but, there was pretty constant, for the most part, communication back and forth. There was some gaps in the time frame where there was no response being provided. I guess I would probably want to just confirm because we're dealing with two entities here with the same name. Do we know the email address that we've been using, just out of curiosity, that these? were-
Marchand 911 at Yahoo. Yeah.
That's actually a company email.
It's a company
The
email.
it was mine, but now it's been a company because everybody has it. So rather than switch over and our email girl that does all our website stuff and everything, made it so that everything goes to that email.
So when messages go into that email, is Mike Jr. monitor them or is some?
Both, both of us,
both of you.
both of us.
So both of you see the,
Yeah,
He's
or I
interested.
will let him know, or I, you know, tell him to correspond, you know.
so you're probably aware of the flow of communication as much as your son is.
Some was emails, but also some I came down and seen Jack
Yep.
as well. So
Yep.
there was some personal communication as well.
Right.
Or a phone call.
Right, yep.
So I don't think there was, I don't, like I said, I don't know what he has, but
Right.
for the most part, I tried to keep in contact with Jack.
Mhm. Yep.
For the most part, so.
Well, it just kind of looks to show it, that we've been making attempts to try to get your situation in compliance with what's required, and then for whatever reason, there's just been certain inabilities to follow through and
And
I
I,
would-
and I appreciate it as well,
what what we've been asking for.
yes.
Just a cursory quick look at this, it speaks right to what I said earlier. A bit disorganized.
But you know,
Sure.
if I might interrupt you just for a second,
Only a second?
only a second. The thing of it is, you know, everybody knows you need to have a permit.
Right.
I mean, that's a given. You need a permit. And it's important for that because again, we're working with things on the lake and we're trying to do something to keep the lake good. And we're trying to follow the path of how, if it's getting pumped and so that's not working for us because you're not doing it. And, you know, it's just, again, you know, it just doesn't make sense to be pumping, you're pumping, but you gotta know you don't have a permit, you know? And to me, that's just like not fair. And I know, you know, I tend to be a little Pollyannish. But, you know,
I agree. And I apologize. We've grown to like 30, 40 different towns in 2 different states and it's just been overwhelming to get the work done. And I'm not using it as an excuse. And I talked to him, I said, maybe we should start the 24 process now. I mean, cause we're almost into October, you
Right.
know, and then,
you know, I mean, it's pretty simplistic. I mean, if you've got a girl who's doing
I'm-
your,
He doesn't really have anyone, and I've told him.
we're trying to get through this season because we went from, just in the trash side of it, we went from a few hundred customers to in the thousands.
right,
I mean, thousands. We have probably 5,000 trash customers now throughout.
But all the more reason you've got to.
I know, but to get into that, into the middle of the season, I interviewed a couple of people, just not qualified. So I'm trying to get to like November to bring somebody in. I told Ernie that I'd probably hire him to do the permitting process to help us with it for,
well, that
Until we-
would make sense to me.
yes,
then,
yeah.
You know, because, I mean, it's not like it's something new and different and,
It's just got to get done.
right, and it's
Like looking at a lot
important.
of these things are just not a follow.
Right. But from our point of view, it's important, especially for the things like on the lake,
Yeah.
you know.
No, you
because
guys are doing a great
We're
job. on
trying
the
to
lake.
do, we're trying to do a
The
great job.
first time I've actually seen a lot of good stuff coming out of the lake.
Well, we're trying to do, you know, we're trying to do it.
Just
but
to
it's
hear
hard
from
to
the
do it
residents,
if we
you know.
can't, you know,
Yeah,
get the information. So we, you know, we want to work together,
yeah,
but it's hard when,
It's a two-way street.
correct.
I mean, the one point I'd like to make is you're talking about all this work that you're getting, which is wonderful. It does beg the question, what is your status in all these, well, your company's status in all these other communities? Because
good,
technically, as far as Mendon's concerned,
yeah,
what you're doing is illegal.
For the
Plain
trash hauling.
plain and simple.
Trash hauling, septic,
And
pumping.
okay.
we have a
You're not,
license for
you're not
trash.
permitted.
No, they're permitted for trash.
For trash, they're
Right.
permitted.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
They are permitted for trash.
Okay.
It's the septic.
We were
hauling.
trying to get
Stand
to that, we
corrected.
were trying to get that one done at the same time. It was just, we had a problem with a couple older trucks to take them off the road for the day to get an inspection sticker. And it seemed like every time, and I told Ernie this, like, you get that inspection sticker yet? You get that inspection sticker yet? And every time we go to do it, it's not a safety issue. It's something,
Right.
I think we got an issue right now with, flashing, trembling headlights. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
small
just,
stuff that's hard to chase, but
it's just,
gotta do it.
we get to the weekend, we get a guy to fix it, go get a sticker on a Monday, and like something else happens. Or some, it's just, and like, again, I'm not trying to make excuses, but,
Well,
and then you got 2,000 trash customers calling you,
Right.
gotta get done, like today. We had a breakdown, we had I mean, it's a vicious cycle, and
So,
like,
so what do we need right now on our sewer?
Jack.
Jack?
Well,
If-
right
if you
now, we
know-
have a letter from JP Noonan that says they are gonna accept the septic and porta potty waste. But that is a little too vague. We wanna know who's coming in to pump those porta potties? Is it Marchand or is it JP Noonan coming to pump those porta potties?
no, what happens is they pump off our trucks.
So-
That's common practice in the field.
All right, but you're picking up the porta
They're
potties.
picking up the porta potties, but you wanted to know where the end waste is going.
Exactly.
It's getting hauled to Cranston, Rhode Island.
Correct, but you're pumping the porta potties yourself
Yeah.
without a permit. That's my
Well,
question.
you need a letter for the disposal, and that's what we gave you.
All right, but again, you are,
What do you need? What do you want and what do you need?
permits.
So just,
But-
I'm not in the business. So you need a permit to pump the porta potty into a truck.
no, if the board's gonna accept the JP Noonan as saying they're gonna accept it from Marchand Pumping in Mendon, again, without the permit, that's gonna be at the board's discretion.
Okay, so let me just understand. You're pumping the portalets.
Are you pumping them or hauling them back to your yard?
No, we're pumping the toilets, but what you're missing, you have to have a letter where the disposal is going to.
Okay.
Okay? JP Noonan's taking the
Right,
waste.
but that's actually not what they're asking.
Yeah.
They want to know if you're pumping the.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're
Okay,
pumping them
You're
and then
pumping the portalets
Yeah.
into your trucks.
Yeah.
and they're pumping.
And
out
then
of
where are your trucks going to connect up with JP Noonan?
It's either my yard or at their yard in Bridgewater.
All right, so in
What trans-
Blackstone, correct, Blackstone,
Yeah,
in Bridgewater, you do not have a hauler's permit, which you need.
okay.
So
That doesn't
again,
have nothing to do with Mendon.
No, but we're
Yeah.
just saying,
Ernie's
don't-
trying to help you fly right.
right.
Yeah.
all right, so
Just need a
may I
permit.
just say this, for
Yeah.
Code Massachusetts Regulations, 310 Mass Regs 15.502, no person shall remove and or transport septic through the streets of any city or town without a permit. So therefore, you don't have one in Mendon, so you don't have a right to pump. You don't have a right to take it out of Mendon and bring it to Bridgewater or Blackstone, because you are not permitted in either of those towns. Because you are traveling and transporting septic into those towns.
This is about Mendon.
Well,
It's about
Well,
Bridgewater and,
Yeah, But no, but you see,
All right, so this is not Mendon, so that
Yeah.
JP Noonan
yeah,
letter is invalid then,
why is it invalid?
Because you do not
That's
have
where
a
the weight-
pumping-
hold on, let him finish.
that you do
Yeah.
not have a septic permit for the town that you are traveling into.
right, so currently, right now, you're operating illegally in Mendon.
So if I understand it correctly, if you pump in Mendon and they come to Mendon and pump from your truck, you're okay.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if it's okay in the field to pump from one truck to another. I don't
I don't
have
know
the
the-
expertise to answer that
I mean, I'll
question.
do the research. I don't know the answer.
I'm, normally, a septic truck would go right to the site. Let's say they go to Hopedale
Sewage.
Storage,
Yeah.
and they offload right at the site. So if there was any kind of an accident, they are prepared to handle it. In his yard, if there is an offload and the spillage, I don't know, I'm not an expert,
Right.
but I'm gonna say that, how are they gonna handle it?
That would be,
Can
I've
I-
never seen it go or heard anybody go truck the truck in the field.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
All your
Just making
license
sure we don't
fees
interrupt
to it.
everyone.
ADC dumps into a bigger truck and goes to the dump. He never, ever,
Where does he transfer?
in his yard. In his yard.
Okay, we can,
That's a fact.
yeah, no, we can ask that question.
Yeah, you can.
Like I said, we're not all knowing.
No,
I'm
but
not saying-
Gibson does not, he has a truck parked in his yard that's not registered that he pumps out of. You know that? I mean, the truck's not registered, he
You mean-
dumps into the truck, he finished filling his truck, so he got a full load to go to the dump. It's common practice. Darling does it down in, the both Darlings do it down in Uxbridge.
No,
I mean, I can go on
I'm
and
gonna
on and
follow
on.
that up for my own
Yeah,
knowledge.
no.
Yeah,
but
they're
I-
not,
I
they're
can-
not saying that they know, they're saying what they think.
Yeah,
Well, but.
This is a little
but-
bit of
but the-
brainstorming.
But the point here is,
Yeah,
the main point is Johnny Gibson, Jay Gibson
Yeah.
has a permit.
I understand that.
Yeah.
You
but
don't have a permit. We just want you to get a permit.
Yeah.
I just gave you the letter where the disposal, it's going to Cranston, Rhode Island. That's what you asked for and that's what I gave
Okay.
you.
We
So that's
asked you
part
to
of the
get
permit.
a permit.
Yeah, so
We want you to have a permit.
Me
That-
too.
so Jack,
too.
what else do we need?
If the board's gonna accept that JP Newton letter, then we have everything in order.
Well, I can say that based on what I've seen on that letter, I would concur that unfortunately it is too vague. Because we were specifically we need to detail that up a little bit.
So what more information would you like?
So I think we have the suggested,
Well, if he's bringing it to Blackstone, then we just need JP Newton saying they're going to Blackstone to take the septic from Marshand.
Okay, so what's vague for you is where the
Where the transfer is happening,
Place.
correct.
Okay, so are you
JP
comfortable the
Noonan,
transfer will take place in your
Blackstone
yard?
permitted?
I have to look and see.
All right.
So are you comfortable with the transfer taking place in your yard?
What is your experience or knowledge of these transfers not happening at a sewage treatment facility? Is
I
there
know
any
that-
knowledge?
That they historically, that they are, they do have a larger truck that they'll pump into. And then when that truck is filled, they'll bring it to, wherever they're dumping their waste.
Okay.
That is, but that the larger, wherever their offsite is, that you permitted as well.
Okay.
So what he's doing is not inconsistent, but the issue is that if he's driving back to Blackstone and he's not permitted in Blackstone, technically it's a violation. Sure, the argument we can make is it's not a violation amendment, but I get
It
it.
is a violation of minute because he doesn't have a permit here.
I apologize, assuming that he gets the permit amended.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
But nevertheless, we want to do it right everywhere.
Right.
We want to resolve
Exactly.
issues.
That's all I'm saying. It seems, I'm like, that's the simplest thing in
Yeah,
the whole
no,
world.
you-
Let-
you're
let's-
not hearing me argue with you.
Because we have all these things
How long
that
have you been on the job in this case?
Just a couple months.
Okay.
he hasn't
So you're getting up to speed yourself.
answered, he hasn't
exactly right.
answered
I'm
his
trying to-
letters, he hasn't got the
Right,
permit, he
because we're
hasn't,
looking at it as.
he hasn't come
September.
and done it. Yeah,
No, I get it. No.
you
And
know,
you've been running illegally and we've got certified letters that aren't getting picked up. So
Right.
that gives
Please
us
send
the,
it.
that gives us the indication.
well,
that we're
that's
being
another thing.
ignored.
Let's find out. Maybe where we're sending it isn't the right place. We're
I've
sending,
gotten letters from you guys. I get emails all the time. As soon as I get it, I call them.
I had 25 Elm Street in Blackstone.
Yeah.
That was mailed, and that was returned.
yeah,
When was that?
That was back on August 12th, 2022.
It sounds like
Oh.
someone's not picking up the mail.
You got that letter.
Then I have another one for 168 Federal
She
Street.
wasn't on the job in
Well, wait, did you go
2022.
pick it up? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I gave it to
2022?
you. Yeah.
August 12th, 2022.
Oh, 22? No, I,
Certified cease and desist letter, and it was unclaimed.
Okay, so what
There was
that
a-
means is someone's not going to the post
yeah,
office.
there's
and picking it
another
up.
one here.
there was a second one, yeah, May
Yeah, May
26th of this
26th,
year.
22?
23,
Nope, This year.
yeah, May 26th.
Okay, so it goes right back to what I've said. Better organization,
like I said, I called him every time he's
but,
called me or
but
I.
people have to
emailed
go
me.
pick up the mail if if you get the notice that you got a certified letter, you gotta go get it. Okay, so letters too vague. So you would like language that says where the transfer is going to take place. Okay.
And that everybody that's
Okay.
involved in it has their permit.
Proper license, permit, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay, so assuming that we can redraft this letter a little bit for you, will you be able, will be comfortable in issuing him his sewage permit?
Does anybody else have anything else
Well,
before we get to that, answering that question?
I know, Colleen, you've had conversations and you've been somewhat involved, at least since July, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious to get your take and your overall view.
I said before, I mean, I know that the septic haulers typically, if they don't go every time that they pump a system. They wait till their truck is full. They have a larger truck that they pump into. Then they wait and they haul the waste to wherever facility
Which
that
makes
they're
sense,
going
that's
to.
efficient.
I can say though that I have not seen a third party arrangement before.
There's one in Foxborough, Homestead, you can call them up. Homestead, you can ask Noonan. Noonan's
No,
been
I'm
out
just
there
saying,
with this.
I've not seen that. I know that there are, like I said, like, we mentioned, a local one that has a larger truck, two local ones and they pump it, but it's their same company. It's their vehicle. So I'm just not familiar
I
with
can,
a third party
I can address
type
you
of
why.
arrangement.
It's getting hard to get rid of the toilet waste. A lot of these smaller plants will not take it, okay?
Why?
And
Do you know why?
it's just, they don't wanna take it. I'm telling you right now, Cranston will take it, Worcester will take it. I don't even know if Worcester will take it. I
So
haven't-
you're saying like Hopedale wouldn't be interested in
They,
Portalett waste?
they might, but I don't know if they'll take it from Mendon. That you get into all these different variables. Now you need, as the town of Mendon would help us pumpers go out and reach out to some of these plants so that we can go there, because it becomes, I've been doing this my whole life. She knows, I've been here in this town since I was probably 5 years old doing this stuff, so it becomes an issue.
I was two.
You look good, by the way. I want to say that before, but, it just becomes an issue for the town where to bring this. And Mendon is not hooked up with a lot of towns, okay? I had a very good, thing with Carney down in Rainham. He decided to close it and they tore it down to build the racetrack, which was very, very handy for everybody. That's gone. It's going all the way to Cranston, Rhode Island. It's putting a burden on. That goes with the grease. Mendon has nowhere to go with the grease. You got Uxbridge, I think, maybe take it when they feel like it. You got, there's not many avenues. And that's something I wish, and if I could work with you or once I get licensed, of course, to look at different places for Mendon to go to sign up with, because, and you're gonna find a lot of other haulers, and I'm not gonna mention names or anything, but they're all having the same problem that I'm having.
Well,
So
we're gonna,
if I
we're gonna
go to
ask that
Noonan,
question.
When I go, well, that's why I'm telling you,
Yeah,
because
we're
I
gonna
know
ask
for,
that question.
I know for a fact, okay?
Mhm.
You got, it's, and for some reason, they just don't want the toilet waste and they don't want grease.
So I,
Cranston will take it, and then I got Noonan to bring it there. That's in a capacity that's, we have our own tractor trailer, but it's not up to, it's not,
Yeah.
we're putting a new vacuum system on it and stuff like that. And when we have that, then we'll come back and get a license to do that and go to Cranston ourselves or Worcester, whoever else.
Okay, so this is a temporary arrangement.
It is a
that you
temporary
have in
arrangement,
place right now.
absolutely. But you needed a place where it's gonna go, and where it's been going,
Okay,
and that's what I'm
and
telling
when
you.
this temporary arrangement changes,
You'll be,
we're gonna
You'll
get
be
notified of what the
notified.
new arrangement is.
Sure,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, just let us know what's going on.
yep,
I'm,
Most of you have my cell phone too. If there's an issue,
Yeah.
just call me.
Okay.
so I'm missing something here, or not, maybe not aware of something. So you're referring to Mendon having a problem
Yeah.
and Mendon not being connected. So I'm missing something. My thought had always been that it was the companies who have a relationship simply by taking their waste to facilities. I didn't, and maybe you can add some insight. I wasn't aware that a town had to have a connection
yes,
to a waste facility.
you do. You're gonna look deep into it, you're gonna find you do. I can't bring your stuff to Milford. Not unless something's changed over the years. Milford won't take waste from you guys.
So facilities,
Mendon's out in a space right now,
so you're saying,
believe it or not. If you're going to Milford, you're not going legally.
so you're saying that,
So a guy has to use it,
So, yeah,
Yeah.
but let them finish.
yeah.
so what you're saying is that if you take a load from Mendon and
Not
you
supposed to go to Milford.
go to a facility, the facility can deny you that waste from,
Because it's from the town.
Yeah,
based on the location.
yeah. Yeah. So then they start using addresses from the town that takes it into that town. And that's everybody. It's not just me. I'm just being honest about it.
No, and,
So
and I
maybe the
appreciate
question
it.
is,
Yeah.
does there have to be a relationship between the Board of Health and the different towns? And I,
Yeah, there
and I
is.
don't know.
Well, that's something that we're gonna look into.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can guess that maybe toilet waste and grease is harder to process.
Well,
It-
because it's,
yeah.
it's more it's more solid, it hasn't
Yeah,
been treated,
And
it's
you-
not,
and you got,
yeah,
you got
so
the
it's like-
chemicals from the toilet, a lot of places are afraid of
Right.
it and
Yeah,
don't know
so
what's coming. You got, you got
I can
pH.
guess as to why that
Yeah.
might be the situation,
correct.
but the board will actually work on the information that you gave us.
Yeah.
And we'll do some investigating and we'll talk to some other haulers and we'll find out if there is an issue, if there is a problem. Or, if they are getting loads that they can't bring to certain areas. Just for our own education, and if we have the opportunity to negotiate something on behalf of the haulers that do business in Mendon, we would do that by all means.
Yeah.
You might have brought, I mean, you might have shed light on something, at least I personally wasn't aware of, that if you and
Oh.
other people
Yeah.
are having this issue, but
I wasn't
Just
aware
handling
of
it in other
but
ways.
It sounds a little bit like almost like.
Then-
It's a fact.
We've
It's
all
definitely-
seen-
Yeah, on the trash side, there are similar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
problems. So it kind of makes sense, but it's something we're gonna have to investigate.
And then it all started back when first Title V came out and they closed all the lagoons down. John Gibson had a lagoon, my uncle had a lagoon, Darling had a lagoon. They shut them all down and they went to, that's when it all started. I was on the Mass Pack Association for, I can't even tell you how many years. And most of the people are dead now or retired. And I was the youngest guy and I wanted to do a lot of
You're
change.
still the youngest guy.
I'm still the youngest guy, but I couldn't get change because they didn't like change, back then.
Yep.
And everybody, even now, you're gonna find that, oh, we don't have no problem. But realistically, they do because I can tell you right now, if I pump a tank in Bellingham, my truck's not full. When I pump one in Mendon, it's going to Milford with a Bellingham address, not a Mendon address. So now you're gonna fudge all this paperwork. So you're not really getting accurate paperwork.
so you've been
Well,
able,
we're not suggesting.
I'm not suggesting
We're not
that,
sug-
but I'm
you know
just
what?
saying
Why? We're not
possibly.
suggesting that my.
you brings up a very interesting point
Yeah.
that I think we probably need to investigate.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna have the perfect opportunity to do that. We could probably come up with some kind of a questionnaire to send out with the new applications for 2024
Start on it now.
that are gonna be going out and see what we get for feedback.
Well, because the last thing I would want any hauler to do would be to quote unquote,
Fudge the paperwork.
because they,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That
Trying
wouldn't be fair to you
Get rid
either,
of it.
for those you folks.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I agree.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna get a little better language there where the transfer will take place. And then assuming that it's okay, is there anything else that you need to grant him his septic license? That's it.
You're well aware of the Massachusetts laws.
1 second. I'm a man, I can't multitask.
I believe that he's correct. That's why.
I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
You're well aware of what the Massachusetts laws are. And you're aware that you're not presently in compliance.
I'm not smiling because I'm disagreeing, but I'm not the only one.
And that's.
And that's not
no,
an
no,
excuse.
You're aware of the Massachusetts laws.
Yeah,
And
And
you're
you're
gonna.
aware that you're not in compliance. I'm choosing my words carefully.
yes.
Okay. All right, so that's been recorded,
Right.
all right? And everybody here understands each other.
So,
But to what you,
I'm sorry.
to what you're intimating, that's, even though they may be doing exactly what you're saying, they do have a permit in town. That's all I'm saying. They have a permit to at least do the job.
And if we
You know what
try
I'm
to
saying?
treat everybody the same way.
Okay.
Okay.
The bottom line is we're here about us,
That's right.
and that's all.
And I
all
want
we
a
should be
permit.
Okay,
Right.
so we're gonna, we're gonna, we're gonna forget about what everyone else might do, because we know the old saying that two wrongs definitely don't make a right. Now, I think he's asking if he can have 30 days to,
I'd like to have 30 days, at least on, just on my toilets that I have out, not adding any new ones. And not do any septic pumping, hauling. Just so I can make sure. You talk to Noonan directly. I don't care if you wanna talk to him directly to get the writing, the language right. I wanna go back to Blackstone now. Which Colleen's town of Blackstone, I believe. And straighten that out.
Okay.
So this way here. Like Jack says, we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Okay, so
Jack-
that's what I'm asking. I haven't been doing any pumping. I've been asked to do some pumping and I got customers that you all know. I said no. So,
Jack,
they,
what else are we
but
missing?
they are also waiting on me, so.
Well, that brings me up to the point with the 10 porta potties that are currently in the NEFC fields. Who's pumping those if you want a 30-day waiting period?
Well, right now I've been pumping it. I've been pumping. The problem I have with now, Noonan used to own a toilet company and I coerced him into selling it. So I can't have him pump them because it's been sold to United Rentals. So there's different many entities into the Noonan factor. So they still own the septic trailers that pump waste, but they don't own the toilet company. So
Well, you mentioned you haven't been doing pumping, if I heard you correctly, right?
yeah,
So we have a list of places where we understand that pumping has been taking place.
I'm talking recently, like as soon as I talked to Ernie about it. How recent?
When you say recently, what do you mean by recently?
I don't know. I don't have anything in front of me unless.
Last
my-
week,
unless my son-
yesterday, last week?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, I have to see, but I mean, we don't do that much pumping and mending anyways, so it's not like,
Well, who are you pumping and mending right now?
who am I?
Yeah.
I just told you.
You do Alicante.
well, who-
I know I don't do all the time.
Who have you-
No,
who have you pumped and mended?
over the years,
No,
No,
it's,
no,
give me
this-
2023.
I don't know. off the
If I
top of
could,
my head. I
let me
think, like,
tell
you're
you what
asking
we
me.
have for information.
Sure, why
and
don't
you
we, why don't we go that way?
and you can
Yeah,
verify.
Yeah.
So what we have is Alicante Restaurant.
that was, we stopped this.
Let him finish.
So we have a list of 9 pumps that took place starting in March, and the last one was in May. That was a while ago. We have 2 residential locations that were pumped, one in March and one more recently in July. We have a restaurant that we understand has been pumped at least, we know, since 2022, and it's just current. I don't know when the last time you might have been involved with that.
Which
location.
restaurant is this?
New England.
Steakhouse. And then the NEFC field with the.
I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
This
The soccer field.
Oh, okay.
Down on.
Oh, the one down on
140.
140?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Do we have pumping records?
We don't have any pumping records on any of those properties.
Okay, so the other thing you need to correct is you're not only pumping without a permit, but you're not even submitting the appropriate paperwork that goes along with it. No
Well,
pumping records.
I don't have a license.
Well, where the records have to be somewhere.
It's a catch 22. I want a license. Give me a license. I'll give you whatever you
Where-
want.
where-
I mean, I'm not trying to be difficult, but
Where are those records? Are they in your office?
well, yeah, they would be in the
Well,
computer.
Or
I
do
mean,
they not exist?
So I want him to be careful how he answers the questions, because that's my job.
Mhm.
But if the records don't exist, or they exist, either way, he doesn't have a license. The bottom line is, I think things have been done incorrectly, and we're trying to move forward. And I'd like to think that as we sit here tonight, we're telling you that from today moving forward, we're going to do it correctly. at least as long as I'm involved in it, we're going to do it correctly, because I know most of you personally. And I'd like to think that my word means something to you. So I think what I would say to you is effective immediately, and until the license is done, we're gonna follow the rules.
Yeah,
He's asking for 30 days,
just on the toilet.
on those toilets, which is up to you. Now, if the board grants you that authority to do the toilets, then you need to be submitting.
Yeah.
Paperwork on that.
Yeah.
So,
When you say asking for 30 days, I'm not, what do you mean by asking for?
Might be less than that, but what I'm saying is I want to go back to Blackstone now, because that's where my yard is. I want to make sure, or Bridgewater, and I want to make sure that everything that Jack's saying is factual, and make sure that I'm in compliance, and I have proof, and I have this, and this, so that, you know.
What I'm
we
missing
have-
is, what do you think is, we're gonna do? What do you think you're trying to do with the 30 days? I might be missing something here. What-
Well, I got a customer that we do the toilets for.
No, I
Okay.
think he understands you want to get them dumped in 30 days, but he's asking, why is it going to take 30 days?
I say it might take less than that. I mean, like, I just think 30 days is like,
So what you're saying is you like to know that in the next 30 days, you're gonna be able to go back and do this.
I'll start tomorrow, but I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, you know, if I have to get another license or get a this or that, it takes, you know, they have different
Well-
meetings that take 2 weeks, a week or whatever, and I don't wanna,
The fact
Say,
of the
hey,
matter, the
go
fact
back.
of the matter is, anything you're doing in the town of Mendon,
yeah.
it's illegal anyway. So we're not out there as Board of Health septic police and see in your truck and pull you over and give you a ticket. If you go and pump somewhere,
You're going to
you're
hear
gonna
about
go,
it.
you're gonna go and pump somewhere.
Well, but we're saying we're not
Wow.
going to do.
Looking you in the face and telling you that I'm not gonna do it,
Yeah.
okay? That's what I'm telling you.
Does
I'm
Blackfield
not
have
gonna
a
do
septic
it.
system?
So you're basically saying though, as
Does
far
Blackfield
as this
have a
particular
sewer
location goes,
department?
you'd like to know that,
Septic?
you'd like to be able
Oh, they
to
sent
go
you
and do
to
it
where?
with our
I
knowledge.
don't know,
that you
they
wanna
have,
do
you know,
it
the town.
within the next
sewers, but
30
you can't
days.
pump there.
Even though you're not.
Here's the
permitted.
problem I have.
Town sewage plant?
No, treatment
Okay.
facility, no.
Oh, okay.
I wanna-
Can't dump it there.
I wanna go make sure that everything Jack and all that is situated so that I'm in compliance. But for someone to just take out 10 toilets, move in 10 more toilets, plus they've already paid and like all this, and now you're getting a customer that's, you're causing more grief than you are fixing a problem.
Well, I understand. So basically what you have to understand, I think, you know, Rennie would understand this too. We, in our position, knowing your current status in the town, we could not quote unquote absolve you of doing something in the next 10, 15, 30 days without a license. So whatever you do, you're doing it on your own, but we can't say to you, okay, we're gonna let that one go because you're not licensed.
Unless you're given
Wow.
some kind of a temporary license.
I have, you have where it's going. You don't even know that it's actually,
What if we did this? Because obviously, we don't want to affect the soccer program. For, you know, I've heard good things about it. Obviously, those toilets need to be maintained. What if we issued the license with a 30-day probation? That gives him his 30 days to clean up his act. That allows him to operate with a license. So he's operating legally for the next 30 days to only service those portalettes. And then in 30 days, you come back before us with the evidence that you've got everything straightened out, because we can't let him operate illegally.
Well, so that's my
no,
point.
no.
Mhm.
And I agree
Right.
with you,
It puts you in.
because I've been trying to run through my head as I've been listening to Mike.
Yeah.
I've been trying to run through my head because we always try to treat everybody the same way.
Thank you.
Well, I
can't-
think
we
it
can't
puts me
allow you-
incredibly
Yeah,
reasonable.
we can't allow you to operate illegally. We can't condone that. So that, at this time, that's my proposal. But there's no extension to the 30 days.
So we come back on a drop dead date, whatever that is, 30 days.
That'll be our next meeting, right?
And then
And a week,
whatever paperwork is required to empty those, you'll provide.
Yeah, Yeah, that's
And
fine.
I would suggest days before the meeting, some sort of a phone
Oh, yeah.
call, email, whatever, just to make sure that you guys have everything you need. That's the only way I can see allowing him to service those toilets. I mean, fellow board members, Colleen, Jack, please, you know, chime
I
in.
would just start, we're just on that page.
Yeah, I would concur. I mean, I was just kind of, You- well, just, I was gonna basically say, it's, not doing it in an intentional manner, but you're right. I like your approach. Issue a conditional permit for this particular piece only.
Yep.
For X number of days, so it only is good for that. And then Mike can take care of that client, because I would not want to see the toilets down there.
Well, no, I mean, I don't want to see that program come to a
Understood.
halt.
Especially right now, this is kind of soccer season.
That wouldn't be
You
fair.
know, I mean, right.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of youth are down there doing good things. I support, that type of activity. But again, whatever we do here today, as always, we need to be prepared to do it for someone else who falls into a similar situation.
Understood. I think
So-
it's a fair.
A temporary permit,
Temporary permit.
limiting it to just strictly to the porta potties until we get the paperwork and we get the confirmatory letter from Noonan. And then that will give Mike an opportunity to go before the board in Blackstone
Hmm.
and get his haulers permit.
So maybe,
But in the interim, he's gonna get a permit to do the regular old fashioned septic system pumping.
Just porta potties.
yeah, but
Yeah.
No
This
residential.
is a conditional permit for
Yeah.
30
No,
days.
what I'm saying, he needs to get a permit to.
Oh,
do-
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
No, no.
the goal is to
I'm
eventually
still on
get
the-
an
I'm on the
unrestricted permit from you.
original.
Yes, then we'll make them whole
Right.
after that.
Right.
Then we can make them whole after that.
But as I hear in what Jack says, is that if Noonan does the transfer of the toilet truck at the soccer field, I'm in compliance, correct?
If they're using their employees and their equipment to go to the soccer field and pump your porta
No,
potties.
no, I'm talking about dumping my truck at the field because. that
Yes,
would
you
be-
cannot pump, period.
No, what I'm saying is, with my letter that I have now,
Yes,
if they were to come and offload my truck with my license
Yeah.
that you give me because it's going to the designation that it says, I would be in compliance.
correct,
Okay,
But
so
if
you're
we did it
gonna
at Blackstone, it would be different. story
correct.
If they don't have a.
Anywhere in
But I don't wanna do it at the soccer.
Well,
field,
but hold
is what
on,
I'm trying
if you
to
do
say.
it anywhere in
Anywhere
Mendon,
in
you're in
Mendon.
compliance.
All right,
Yeah, because JP Noonan is licensed in Mendon as a septic hauler.
yeah.
So my thought would be, could we ask for 45 days? Because we're gonna need some time to get over in Blackstone, unless if Colleen thinks we can get over there real quick in 30 days.
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
They meet every 2 weeks. They're meeting Tuesday night and then they'll meet 14 days after that.
So you gotta jump on this right away.
Oh, I plan.
Can't wait for the girl in the
I
office.
plan on it. No.
you're
there
looking
is
at
no
the girl
girl.
in the office.
I won't go there. I would like to.
You can, Tom, it's okay.
I would like to just bring up who actually is the face of this company.
My son,
So what I would like to see on the next visit,
yeah,
It's his
your
face.
son.
okay. He would love to be here.
Right, so,
He
you know,
just, like I said, he's doing he did, today was a horrible day. You saw it out there.
we all have bad days.
We all.
We'll have them here.
Yeah.
What's the
He-
date you
he-
want us here?
He couldn't make it. He
Jack?
was planning on coming here, so.
I understand.
Well, the latest date for 30 days would be October 25th between our meetings. So our next meeting is September 27th, if we can have it before then. If not September 27th,
That's not gonna
then
give
you
us
have
30
October
days.
11th.
We have October 11th.
But you want any of them?
Yeah, I mean, that gives us pretty close to 30 days. I mean, if you want to throw it out one more, I'm fine with that, but
Yeah, 'cause today's the 13th.
Yeah,
We're gonna give them 30 days, at least has to be 11.
yeah, then,
okay.
Well, yeah.
I'll go with that.
Me too.
so the 11th or
Thank
the
you.
week after.
And to be honest, at this point, I wouldn't have a problem.
I don't think a week is gonna make any difference. I think he's gonna be able to do that and.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he's
get
gonna
on.
Because you're on the job.
He's gonna be able to do that in a
But
week.
I kind of like what I thought.
I
Tom
remember
was
when you
being-
went on seven, so I gotta do what you're gonna think.
In the spirit, in the spirit of giving, I personally would not object to that little.
So what would be the next one, October?
Well, if we go past the 11th, it would be October 25th.
So
That's going past 30 days.
I really, Tom,
Okay, the only way,
I'm thinking that he's not gonna need 30 days to do that. We're
Okay.
being, I think, let's give him the 11th, let him get in here. Get that
Okay.
done. Let's-
And if by, and Tommy will not go unnoted that you were trying to give us a later date. But, and of course, if we get this done sooner, then I'll get with
Yeah,
you
we
guys.
meet
and
every
see if
2
we can-
weeks.
That would be,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
So Colin, we'll reach out to you in the next couple of days in Blackstone. When are you there in Blackstone?
I'm there on Monday, Wednesday and Fridays until 12:30. And
So I might try to call you this Friday.
yeah, I
The
have,
Blackstone application?
it's online.
Okay.
Yeah, it's online. I can mention it to the board and let them know that it'll be forthcoming.
is there a way to get on the agenda right away? Because they're
Tuesday?
all screwed up down there, so I really
Well-
don't know what,
well, I-
how the procedure works.
Careful, choose your words correct.
I know.
Yeah, you know what? How
Yes,
about-
Mike, do you
you know
think-
what? How about you be quiet, and let the girl in the office talk?
Do you think that you can get the paperwork together by Tuesday night?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's mostly all your same paperwork you have, so it's the same one,
Okay,
you know?
bing, bam, boom.
I'll work on it this week and got nothing else to
So
do.
the board's meeting on the 19th,
Okay.
and then the Board of Health's next meeting would be October 3rd.
I'd rather get in on the first one if we can. Then if
Then
there's,
get me
then
paperwork.
then
Okay.
if there's an issue, we get an extra.
So we gotta get the paperwork
Yeah.
done so we can submit it Monday.
Yeah,
I will submit it. You'll help me finish it.
Okay,
So with that said, now we'd ask that you vote to give us a temporary 30-day license. It's a restricted license.
to just pump that one site,
yeah, I think that's the only, I'm not correct, but I think that's the only portable toilets we have in town.
so
So,
those are the only one we're gonna give you a permit to pump.
okay, well, like, I don't wanna,
Well, you're not
Hurt
gonna,
Well,
you're
I
not
don't
gonna
know.
pump anything
I
that,
don't think we do, but I'm
Okay.
like,
speak,
prepared.
speak now.
yeah.
yeah. I won't put any more out, that's for sure, but I don't know if
Just,
there's any
just
other.
the soccer field.
Unless you know some other place off the top of your
I
head.
don't know off the top of my head,
Well, then
but I
that-
don't wanna be caught in a lie either, so.
Well, you won't be caught,
You know.
you're not caught in a lie. If you don't know, you don't know.
I don't know.
But if they vote to only allow you to pump those are all you pump.
Yeah, alright.
And you keep records.
Yeah.
'Cause
And you'll-
we're
and
gonna
you'll
want,
Jack helped me, we went over it in the office, when I
Okay.
went, he kinda went through what I need to do.
does anybody else have anything else? Cause I just have one more thing.
It's that-
And it'll
it's
be
that
real
last
quick.
one. It's always the killer.
No, you're gonna spend all weekend doing paperwork. I'm gonna help you.
Sound like a shitty weekend.
Go ahead.
All right. We're getting ready for 2024
Correct.
paperwork, right?
Correct.
Is it printable?
Not as of yet, I'm still updating it for 2024.
All right. So if you got it ready before Friday,
The second you have it,
we could forward it
Okay.
Yeah,
so that
send
Yeah,
it to
two
me.
things.
you're gonna be the
Ah.
first one to get your paperwork submitted for 2024.
But you guys have my email address? Just in case.
What
you
is your email address?
Ernie Horn, ERNIEHORN.
Yep.
At hornlaw, HORNLAW.org, ORG.
I'll email you both.
Thank you.
If you like to fill, well, let's get ahead of this.
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, so with that said,
And
we
I'll
need
speak
a
for my
motion
son, he appreciates it too.
and a second.
I make the motion that we do the
Restrictive license.
restricted
for
license and
business.
get things done and make sure that the permit is permitted. That he has all of his ducks in a row, so to speak.
All right, and that's only to pump the portable
Totally.
toilets.
Right.
Well, Amy,
Yes.
But
You
that
guys
he-
try to speak Italian.
but
Mess
that
you
he-
up.
but he does get his permit, all his permitting in order for the rest of his.
Yeah, and he'll appear at the meeting on the date of,
October 11th.
okay.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
And just
yeah, thank you.
remember, I'll say this again,
Yeah.
on that next meeting. I want to see Mike face.
Oh, he'll be here. He would have been here tonight. He
Yeah,
wanted-
understood.
Yeah.
I got it.
he
Want to
was-
reiterate, that's all.
I got my notes here.
Okay.
He's the one who got the soccer thing. He was the one calling me, yelling, screaming at me.
The
So,
face. The face must be here.
Families
Get
are
it right.
tough. Um,
All right, Colleen, I'll reach out to you maybe
I don't
Friday.
wanna bring up an old stone, but 22, I don't
We're
even
gonna-
know what happened. in
That's all right.
22.
We're gonna look
Yeah.
into it. We're gonna
We're
get
gonna,
it
we're
corrected.
gonna move forward.
Okay.
We're gonna
alright,
move forward.
alright,
We
good.
can't change the past.
No, because
We
it,
can
that,
just try not to repeat it,
yeah.
okay?
Just make-
And, don't wait too long to hire someone to help you out. I mean, call your competitors and
No.
offer the girl in the office double the money.
There's the girl in the office right there.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to pay me to do that work. Hey, if he wants
Yeah,
to though.
you can't keep putting that off.
No, we got too many towns now too, and
Yeah.
trying to put actually Noonan's helping us, get it so that we can have a file system where, because all these towns are almost all the same.
You don't need to stress.
Yeah, there might even be a
Basically, just
software
pull
out there that caters to your industry
Yeah.
that would help you keep things in order.
Jack,
So get it done.
and Jack,
please.
not all the towns are the same, just so you know. They're not
All
all
right.
the same.
What was that? I missed that.
Not all towns are the same.
We don't
No, they're not.
stop.
We're
Yeah.
better.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
I don't stop before 9, by the way. I don't stop before 9 in the morning.
All right, next agenda item.
Thank you.
Thank you
It
very
is very
much.
nice to see all of you.
Same here.
Thank you. My
Yep.
best to the boys.
Same for your family.
Thank you.
And I see your daughter a little too regularly.
dentist, yeah.
I think I'm paying her salary all by myself in that dentist.
Yeah. Hey,
Calling
You
up
gotta
that.
keep your smile.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night,
Have a
Joe.
good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have good notes on what we agreed to,
Yes, we do.
okay?
I would like to, speaking of notes, I'd like to compliment Jack on his
I did the same
Flow
thing,
of
yeah.
communication.
Absolutely. Jack did such
Yeah, and-
great work.
Did Ernie get a complete package?
You didn't get a complete package.
All right, it might not hurt to email.
I will give him a complete package.
So that he has some history to go back and figure out
See
what's
that
been
we
going
were-
on
yeah.
and why we're at the juncture that we're at. And, thank you everyone for, working together to try to get this issue straightened out. It's been a thorn for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
So-
excuse.
Mhm.
And I thought I would made that pretty clear.
All right. Next item on the agenda, folks, is E.L.
Really
Harvey
good
FY
package.
2024.
Still do not have it.
I didn't mean to talk over you.
Nope, that's all right.
Still do not have it. Mike said that BJ is still working on it with their attorneys.
Hope they're not gonna come up with some big old thing. Maybe they're gonna have less.
Never.
That's Pollyanna again. Just saying.
But me and Tom were talking about how we said back in October, you mentioned it to Harvey, saying we need a contract. I'm like, oh yeah, you'll have it by,
Yeah, I mean, we renewed in July.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
but
September.
we've been-
halfway through
we've been-
September.
We've been working on it since, remember,
Oh, year before that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that is the story I'm getting from E.L. Harvey,
okay.
And you're getting it right from Mike.
Mike, right from Mike.
So I sense his frustration.
I'm sure because he's like Mr.
Yeah, and
Smooth,
he's been
straight
doing
and
this a
square.
long time.
Yeah, and I understand it.
And-
He's not in the same role
Right.
that he once was with E.L. Harvey. So there's some other people involved here. So that contract part is, I know that is control.
Right.
All he can do is relay our message.
Mhm.
But with regard to relaying our message, we've had some issues lately with performance from E.L. Harvey,
Oh, really?
as you all, oh, I thought you all were aware, but Jack could probably summarize better, but we've had issues with well, we had a bit of a fiasco with the rollout of the new barrels.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah.
We had some issues with,
Traffic.
maintenance of the vehicles,
Hydraulic.
glass being spilled
Lost
on the
three,
floor.
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
on the floor, but on the roads.
On the
Oh,
roads.
is it on the
Twice.
road? Oh,
Um, So,
And then most recently, I think a 3-hour hydraulic issue.
Mhm.
The day that I called you and said something's not right.
Yeah.
and in
We
general,
had to go- Oh, no, that wasn't hydraulics. It was the regen for the diesel motor.
Oh, yes.
Those diesel motors have to, it's almost like the emissions control on our cars. It's for the diesel motors. The thing wasn't regenning the way it was supposed to, so we had to actually go back to the shop, get it corrected, and then come back. So we lost like 3 hours that day.
yeah, so he ended up doing a Saturday run, didn't he?
Very possible,
I think he
possible.
did a
but
Saturday run.
it was a
yeah.
regen issue. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
and in addition to, there have been some, what seems to be some communication problems. Lack thereof
Okay, you physically,
in
up
response. Well, I made one trip
okay,
and, we thought I was gonna have to make a second trip, but that one
And What
particular
was,
issue.
what was the issue?
Well, just with regard to what was happening with the maintenance of the trucks and, he was getting, he would, I don't know if you folks saw the email, but basically, he's telling the residents one thing based on what he's being told, and it doesn't come through, so the residents end up calling Jack back, say, hey, what's up? You told me such and such is gonna happen. So things aren't happening the way Jack's being told they're gonna happen from E.L. Harvey. So.
Can you give me an example?
what would be
Well,
the-
a lot of it was the toter list.
Oh, yeah, right.
What the new resident, not the new residents, the new program, every resident on that list was supposed to get E.L. Harvey toters.
Right,
And for some strange reason, Sierra Company, who E.L. Harvey uses as a third party to deliver the toters, was either not delivering them. There was some instances where they were delivering 35-gallon toters to the resident out of the blue.
right.
No idea why.
interesting.
Yeah, I
And,
was getting calls about not getting them.
and people not getting them.
I was like, oh.
So I'm
okay.
told, yep, they'll be there tomorrow, and tomorrow comes, and I'm getting the phone call from the resident, where is it? And I'm going back and forth with customer service, and like, oh, it's a trash truck driver, they'll have it out there tomorrow.
Those 2 toters that you had me pick up on Uxbridge Road,
Yes.
did we ever find out where they belong to?
One was Uxbridge Road way down, and one was from another road where I don't know where.
And they
That
were
was-
just there,
They were just there.
abandoned.
Yes.
Hmm.
And another one issue was 15 Crestview was having an issue for non-pickup. I said, did something happen with Phil? Is there a new trash truck driver with 15 Crestview? His trash wasn't picked up. And I got a response back, as far as I know, Phil's working today. All right, can Phil please make sure that it was the day of the service? Please make sure Phil goes to 15 Crestview and picks up trash.
Right.
He will be there. And that's all I got.
Right.
So I assumed it would be that day. It didn't happen that day. Resident called me the next day. I apologized to him, called again, talked to E.L. Harvey. Phil will be out there today. As far as I know, he's going back out. Again, it's not giving me,
Yeah, yeah,
yes, I spoke to Phil. I said, can I get some clarification? Can somebody make sure Phil's working? And he does know to go back out to 15 Crestview. And just the response is, yeah, he's working today. It's not the answer I'm looking for, but luckily it was handled.
Okay.
good, yeah.
Have we reached the peak of those complaints? Are they,
I'm hoping.
There
Falling
there
off.
are a few in between now.
okay,
So I'm getting, it's starting to even keel out now.
okay.
But it's just a matter of me,
Yeah, so that's July, August, so we're like 10 weeks into the contract.
Right,
and Mike said it would probably take 3 or 4 months for residents to get used to it.
oh,
So my point in bringing that all up, was in conjunction with the fact we can't seem to get a contract out of them. I'm wondering if the board would want to entertain some sort of a formal letter that should go to E.L. Harvey. Not necessarily just to Mike, but to the lead gentleman involved that runs the operations there. Just basically expressing might
Our
be
concern.
our concern, our disappointment. At least my perspective, I'm disappointed.
It's not what we were getting
In the
before.
performance, it's, something's changed. It's not what we were getting before. Just so we have something, a paper trail, because there's a, and I don't want to say this could happen, but there's a good possibility that if issues like this keep happening, the board may want to consider different direction, potentially going out to bid to another vendor.
Well, do you think that, don't we have more people that signed up this time too? So, you know, again, Pollyanna talking here. That it was the, between the company, because I actually followed them around Blueberry and to see how they were doing it and everything in the very beginning. And it looked like they were very coordinated. They had a list, they had a piece of paper, they had papers and they were checking, you know, things. So I was like, oh, great, you know, they're doing a good job. And when it came to like my house, you know, he goes on Washington Street for me and they put my things out in front, but that made sense because I was 23 Hastings Street.
Yeah.
But I saw them with their paper and, you know, it.
So
you
you're
know,
talking about Sierra, when they were dropping the containers off.
Correct, yeah, right, yeah,
Okay, I know I had a brief discussion with them when they were at my house, because they were looking for number 181
right,
and they couldn't find it. And it's a relative of mine, so I could clue them in on where 181
Right.
was, so that they weren't gonna get called back.
right.
So I, you know, and I saw what you saw. I'm sure with a rollout of a new program,
Right.
and with a third party involved, I was expecting it to be a little bumpy.
But what's not
what-
new, the program may be new as far as the rollout of the distribution. I get that. But what's not new is customer service
Right, and that's what you're talking
and the
about.
trucks. That's
Yeah.
their bread and butter. That's something we've been dealing with. That's been in existence. So I guess my question is, has something changed internally? We know the company's changed. It's not the family-owned company that it used to be.
Right.
It's a corporation now. So has something changed internally that is gonna pose consistent, continued problems?
Yeah, I would be in favor of a letter of some form, stating our observations on the changes in customer service
You are kind. Observations. This guy is good.
and our concern
Yeah.
with, you know, the health of our relationship.
Okay,
You know, I mean, the contract is kind of important.
yeah,
When there are reports of glass falling out of the truck.
Yeah.
That's important.
I mean, in all the years prior, I don't think I ever heard of one
Right.
issue like that
Mhm.
ever happening with the fleet.
I wonder if it's
Well,
because
the
of the
truck-
new trucks
The
that
truck
they,
is older.
But your age, I get that. So are we reaching a point where it's aged and it's falling apart,
Mhm.
breaking down and,
Well, it is, because Phil said that it's been in the shop. Sometimes he's lost it for 3 weeks. So, like I said, I would, I would be in favor of some form of communication. Again, our concerns about the observations, the changes in customer service, the changes in getting reports of equipment failures repaired in a timely manner. I mean, you know, you're gifted.
well, I mean, however long it takes them to repair a truck, I don't care. As long as whatever truck
they
a driver is
replace it with.
using is a good truck. They can take 6 weeks to
Right,
fix a
but what I'm
truck.
saying is preventive maintenance, when those trucks are inspected by the mechanics,
Right.
and I'm gonna assume it's done at least on a weekly basis,
Well,
things like that are supposed to be caught. Because if they're not caught, it costs the company money. All right, so hydraulic lines, looking for leaks, looking for objects that don't belong in tires. Those are all things that cause a truck to go down when you don't want it to go down. So it sounds to me, in respect to the truck, that the maintenance people aren't doing their job.
Well,
No,
I'm just
maybe
wondering,
they-
has something
maybe they-
changed in the personnel? I'm getting the feeling that they're having a tough time
Getting people.
at the mechanic level,
Okay.
that something has changed that wasn't there before. Maybe because the truck was newer, so you didn't need that attention,
Mm-hmm.
like a new car. You never have to do anything to it. That's why they give you those wonderful 3 years,
Mhm.
all maintenance covered in the first 3 to 5 years. Well, nothing ever happens in the first 3 to 5
Mhm.
years, right?
Yeah.
Always after. So maybe it's a situation like that. Maybe we're just feeling that moment in time.
Well, that truck is now, I believe, in its sixth year.
Yeah, you'd be right.
Now, I don't know what the life expectancy of the truck is. I would say it's not too much longer.
I think we were told somewhere around 7.
Yeah, so
They change them over?
it's not too much longer,
Right. So
okay? But again, I don't want to.
I don't want to push a panic button.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But I
but
think we have to be
bring
descriptive.
to their attention the changes that we're seeing and ask for some clarification or ask for some assurance that these things are being worked out. I don't know how.
Well, just to point them out, you know, in a summarized fashion, in a letter, in writing. It's a document that just kind of starts the,
Right, so there's a record of it, so should there be larger issues moving forward, you already have recorded your concerns,
Well, and
today's concerns.
Right.
I guess I'll
I
be
get it.
Pollyanna-ish. I would hope that maybe somebody on the other side would like to
To know this.
know these things.
Right,
Maybe it's
right.
not getting to the right level
Mhm.
because we've always been a happy customer.
Right.
And things that haven't gone wrong, I believe, I know I've felt have always been resolved in a timely manner. These things seem to be lingering, like the glass. It was fixed, it wasn't fixed, well, it was still happening. So it couldn't have been fixed.
Right.
That's when you have an issue. You know, I mean, if I saw Phil leaking hydraulic fluid and I said to Phil, hey, you're leaving a rainbow, you know, and a week goes by and it's not fixed, that's not right.
Mhm.
Something's wrong. So I would be more than in favor of alerting them that things don't seem to be
This is our
getting
concern.
resolved,
Right.
Mhm.
like this contract. I mean,
That's a
a
long
lot of
time.
it's boilerplate.
Right.
I don't see why it's taken so long to
I
print
know.
it up and get it to us. I mean, we're operating in good faith without it, but
well, and we have
10 weeks
received
into the
confirmation.
program and we still don't have the paperwork. The paperwork we should have had 30 days before.
And we have received confirmation from town council about, you know, they blessed the allowance to move forward with the addendum
Right.
component. But, I don't think they were expecting that it was gonna be forever.
No, I agree. And maybe if we don't say anything, it will be forever.
Mhm.
So I'm good with that. And you're very good with the English language.
I don't know if you took down his exact words over there, I think you got your letter right there.
No.
Yes, I don't think it's gonna hurt, that's for sure.
No.
No, I think it's a documented,
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Colleen
Starting
says, you
your-
know, it's
you're
just,
starting your program.
because this, I hope to think it's isolated. I like to think it's isolated,
Mhm.
but starts the documentation part for what might be coming or what might continue.
Well, I think if you put the shoe on the other foot, let's say that we were always paying our bill on time. And we started to get late for some reason,
Mhm.
new
They'd
girl
be
in the
honest.
office.
It'd be honest, like a bad dream.
We as the Board of Health, where we don't pay the bill directly, we would like to know,
Mhm.
right? So that's all we're doing. Is we're letting them know
Following up.
what we've seen that could become problematic.
Right, there's a potential there.
So I like that. And
Okay.
probably the sooner the better.
Get something together. Right.
Mendon landfill update.
Pretty status quo, no new update.
And I'm still, I did reach out to the resident that
Oh,
I
you've
initially
spoken,
connected
yeah,
with,
yeah.
and I'm just waiting for a contact back.
Okay.
All I have with an email. I think we're popping by just to.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly could do that because she passed by my house back in the day.
Back in the
I
day, yeah.
mean, I don't wanna do that, but I could.
I mean, it
Should be surprised to say, oh my God, you still?
and it may just be that, I don't know
Right.
if either of you have had a chance to take a look at what Jack had located documentation wise.
Right,
for
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
But it might just be that whatever this woman has might simply be copies of what we already have now in the office,
and I'm
but
trying to.
it's still
spread-
worth,
Right.
you know,
I'm trying.
Just to see if we can take the, we've identified parcels A through D, just where they sit with regards to the parcel itself, because we've also gotten the well locations from the company. So now we just need to know the parcels with what they are on that larger part to
Okay, and I talking
compare
about
it.
the test wells?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, we have.
I just wanted to differentiate that from like a neighbor's drinking well.
Oh, yeah, no, yep, the
test wells.
monitoring wells,
Yep.
we've got those from the company, so we know where they are located on the property. We just don't know what, what the boundaries are for parcel A, parcel B, C, and D. We know that the town is responsible for A, B, and C, and that the Ferrucci's are responsible for C and D.
Okay, is it possible, and Jason might be able to help with this, that software that you can use online that will actually superimpose the boundary lines on the map?
Mhm.
okay.
I don't know. Jason? Oh, he might have stepped
No,
away.
he just put his speaker on.
Yeah, so biomap. So I just
Yeah,
pasted in the chat, and then there's one more, the Mass Mapper is an open GIS site that Massachusetts has, and that might be the one that you're thinking about. That one allows you to create layers and do different types of overlays, so property lines with floodplains, etc.
Sound good, Colleen?
Yeah, we can take,
Thank
we
you,
can look
Jason.
into it. Thank you.
All right, Jason, just out of curiosity, what do you think so far? Tonight's meeting?
Yeah, it's a long night.
Did he say?
It's a long night.
Oh,
Oh, we appreciate you being a part of it.
Absolutely.
I'll give that a
We'll
shot
look
and
into
see if that
too.
helps.
Yep,
Anything
and I'll
else?
keep,
yep, and then maybe we can find out from
right.
Shay as well.
Anything else on Mendon landfill? All right,
Oh, the one thing I would ask,
Hit me.
are we good to go with, Atlas, the new people out of Springfield now?
Yes, we signed the contract,
So they got everything they need.
yes.
At some point they'll be working with to schedule an inspection,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
Have you been in touch with Jennifer at all lately? Jennifer Snee, she's,
Not recently, I don't think so.
wonder if you might just, want to make a note, maybe just to kind of shoot out a,
Because I do want to follow up on the
kind of a communication, just say, hey,
permits.
touch and base, yeah, I just want to follow up now that all the contractual information has been processed and so forth, just kind of want to get an idea where you folks are gonna, what your plan is now
Mhm.
moving forward. Do you have an idea?
Right.
I'd be curious to know if they're gonna try to do a inspection.
yeah, I would actually, if we're
Towards
getting
yes.
towards fall, if I
Right.
was available, I wouldn't mind tagging along.
Right.
Just to get a firsthand understanding of what it actually is down there.
Right.
I haven't been on that property since the seventies.
Yeah, I'd join you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, now's a great time of year where the foliage and the grass is gonna start going away. You can really see a lot and get a feel for where you are. So, you know, if they do it sometime in October, November, that'd be awesome.
So that'd be good. That'd be good. That way we'd know.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
Want
can
to
walk it,
participate
yeah.
in that.
Yeah. Cause it's so hard to talk about something sometimes that you
When you don't have a
you've never
visual, yeah,
experienced.
yeah.
Yeah, and I certainly could go because I have,
Oh, you would, absolutely,
yeah, I know,
Water underground.
yeah.
I laugh every time I think of the conversation.
That ain't groundwater.
All right. Anything else on that, on the landfill? All right, folks, let's move on to recycling and energy drive update. That was our green team.
That was Green Team Junk Removal. We sponsored along with Hopedale and Upton last Saturday at Misco High School. We had about 125 cars that came in.
Good.
So they collected a lot. And,
Just FYI, Misco is not a high school.
what? Oh, sorry, what was it?
It's a middle school.
Oh, sorry, Misco Middle School,
Whatever.
sorry. Misco Middle School. And, I was on the dehumidifier side of the operation, collecting dehumidifiers. We collected about 110 dehumidifiers.
Oh,
wow,
you said that. I was so
Wow, that's
surprised.
wow,
almost
that
one
is a
over
lot,
half.
it really is.
So, went good.
Good.
Excellent. And
Great.
they cleaned everything up like they said they did. They said they never leave anything there.
Yep, they took everything.
Good.
All right. And, any feedback from Hopedale's Board of Health or Upton's Board of Health? on-
Well, I saw Trish.
Yep,
Where's she from?
Upton,
Upton. Saw Trish from Upton. She knew nothing about it. But they did do the mailers. Did you guys get mailers?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
That mailer, it's funny, after you talked about it
Yeah.
yesterday, that just came
So they,
in the last couple of days.
No
Really?
kidding.
Yeah, I got mine about 5 days ahead, which I wish it was even more, but I got mine 5 days ahead.
that's what I told Green Team. I'm like, you're just asking about the town seal and you're just doing the bulk mailing now to send these out, but it's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And it usually takes about 5 days for bulk mail to be processed properly, because I've done it myself.
Right, right.
I'm like, this should have been mailed, but again, it's not my monkey, not my circus,
That's my
so.
job.
Okay, so we should make a note about the mailers.
Mhm.
Need to go out earlier.
Mhm.
We should probably already also make a note that we need to maybe firsthand contact board members of the other towns that were participating with us
Mhm.
to get their input.
Well, I know they were reaching out to them, but again, I don't know the back and forth.
Yeah, but maybe we need to.
All right.
You know, a food for thought, and it's a very effective system, and I've used it before, is the reverse 911 system.
Mhm.
And all the communities have it available. Mendon could send out their own notice, Upton and so forth and so on, and it's very effective.
Well, we also have two, which I just became aware of and didn't realize we had this. I was thinking the 911 was the way to go for that mass. We have actually something through our website, all these different types of notifications you can sign up for
Mm-hmm,
as an individual and get notices on,
mm-hmm.
which I that was awesome. I didn't realize that was in place. You know, oh, yeah.
Okay, so we need to kind of improve the communication.
Mhm.
Cause I'm a little disappointed that Upton Board of Health wasn't aware of it. I mean, they must have agreed to it.
I would assume so too.
So even if it's just a matter of
Did they
inviting,
have people, did people come from Upton?
No.
Oh, so they
Yeah,
did.
residents come from Upton and
Oh, that's what I
Hopedale,
mean.
and
That's-
no staff.
yeah,
No staff.
I would almost
yeah.
consider maybe,
So somehow they knew,
They get the mailing as well with Mendon.
right?
I would consider 2 or 3 months before the event, inviting Mendon, inviting Upton and Hopedale's Board of Health members to attend one of our meetings.
Mhm.
Because I would, I'd be interested in their input and their suggestions, just because it's being held on Mendon turf, so to speak. We want to have a good relationship and we want to, be team members with the other boards of health. So I kind of feel bad that we missed that opportunity, but it happens when you do something for the first time. You find out what went well and what didn't go so well, and you improve upon it for the next time. So definitely the mailers earlier. some kind of electronic notification reminders. And like I said, 60 to 90 days before the event, having a chat with the other members, the other town members of, Board of Health and,
Even using the signs, you put it,
oh, yeah,
You
the
know,
message boards.
yes, you can
Yeah.
use those. I've used those too. They're very effective.
And getting some feedback from the green team
Mhm.
when we're in the planning stages as to what could be done differently to improve it, because we all win, when it
Right.
goes well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like it didn't go well.
No, went very well.
That's 125 cars, almost one dehumidifier per car.
Yeah.
That's good for everybody. but,
Absolutely.
And based on the results, you definitely would say it's worth doing again, right?
That doesn't
Yeah.
cost the town any money. It's free.
Absolutely. And now that school is open, I'm sure that they would send something home with the kids.
Yeah.
And that's another way to reach the
Well,
households
there
too.
may be some electronic messaging that we
Yep.
could do through the
Right.
school system,
Yep.
using their databases. And they put it out. How far in advance do we need to schedule another one?
I can call Fred and see if he wants to do another one, because again, this is on their dime, so
Right.
I don't know if this is a one and done type thing, or this is gonna be an annual thing.
Well, I mean, in order for the company to exist, it's,
Should be, it probably.
Gotta
would
keep
be
continuing.
annual, I would say. Yeah.
no problems with traffic flow or anything like that. So even if there was another town that wanted to join us,
Mm-hmm,
it probably wouldn't overwhelm that area.
mm-hmm.
So if another bordering town wanted to participate, it probably wouldn't be a problem. So, I mean, I say, just like hazardous waste day, I say we tell them we're interested in doing it again about the same time of year at the same place. Why not?
Yeah.
And maybe more people will catch on. I'm sure there's some people that didn't catch on to what was going on if they got that postcard in the mail 5 days out. But now they'll be talking to their neighbors and the neighbor will say, yeah, look, I got this nice new dehumidifier and I got $30 and,
Springtime's a good time to have those types of events too, because people get into the, spring fever, cleaning and whatnot. Yeah, exactly.
maybe we want to
Yep.
change the time of year.
Oh, you could do two. I mean, if you, and like, like you said, patting it up with another town.
Well, Mendon can do spring, and Upton and Hopedale can do one in the
Yeah,
summer and fall.
yep.
Well, reach out to the green team and see, feel them out, see what their suggestions are based on how they did. Because we already have hazardous waste day locked in for next year, right?
No, dude, that's too
What do you
early.
mean? It's too early. Oh. Welcome.
I tried to last year at this time. They said, no, it's too early. Usually it's January, February that they're looking to book.
Yeah, we had some problems some years.
Well, didn't we have a little communication issue when you were getting one answer and then you ended up reaching back, speaking to somebody else and
No, because when I first started, you guys were talking about, oh, they can't help us. So when I first started, I did a Google search, who can do hazardous waste? I'm like, oh, Clean Harbors, let me reach out to them. Because I didn't know that's what you guys use. I'm like, oh yeah, we can do it. So I went to Tom and Tom's like, they told us no. I'm like, well, they're telling me yes.
So we had some, before you came on board, we
Yeah.
were trying to reach out.
Dan Applegate.
We were
Yes.
getting nowhere.
Yeah.
All right,
That's because we know we have so much Superior.
I know. It comes in on Fridays.
My work week.
So you're saying January?
Yeah.
All right, put it on your calendar, please, so we don't get left out in the cold. And, cause I know for a while there, we were getting in kind of late, the date kept getting pushed off and pushed off, and then we missed a year. We don't want that to happen again. I know it's a little different now, cause we're trying to coordinate the shredding truck at the same time, but that seems to really work out good. All right. 2023 flu clinic.
All right, the flu clinic is scheduled. It's scheduled in October. Give me 1 second.
There'd be two of them, right?
Yep, there's one for the senior center.
Yeah.
Second. Plus I didn't print it off for my meeting. They're both in October.
Okay,
And
Are they both just flu or is it one COVID?
it's strictly just a flu.
And I was able to confirm, I know that this question asked in the past, from the senior perspective, they, were getting queries about whether or not we're providing a super, they call it super shot.
Yeah,
And, Jack had reached out to, Ann Avanti. She responded, that's not something that they even carry.
oh,
No,
really?
It's too expensive,
interesting.
Yeah.
Expensive.
wicked expensive.
One of the reasons, and it's
Ridiculous.
also, age specific.
Yep.
And the clinics that the VNA hosts, they range from 6 months to,
Mhm.
so they use one that applies across the board. It's a quadrivalent.
Yep.
To that effect, that is much more effective in covering the whole range.
Okay,
People.
the super one you're talking about, what age is that supposed to kick in?
65.
65.
That's the
So you
age.
limit
I'm
yourself.
not there yet.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is at the Mendon Senior Center. That's on Friday, October 13th from 9:30 AM to 11 AM. And the second one is at Misco Hill Middle School in the cafeteria. That's scheduled for Tuesday, October 17th from 5 PM to 7 PM.
Excellent.
October, what, I'm sorry,
October
17.
17th
the middle school.
at the middle school, yeah. That's good for Mendon residents ages 6 months and up. Town employees, and pre-registration is required.
Online.
Yep.
Yeah, and through the color program, everything's through the color program now. It's so much easier. Gone are the days of the pencil pushing
Oh,
and then having to match the doses. It was monotonous. Bad enough you were, well, not bad enough, but I mean, you were at the clinic for 3 hours and then it would take you 3 hours afterwards to reconcile everything. Now with the color, it's effortless.
Anything else on that topic? All right, we'll move on to Lake Nipmuc Task Force Committee update.
Joyce.
well, we did have a meeting and we discussed different things, made our board who president and or
Chairman.
chairman and vice chairman and Dan Byers is the chairman and whatever her name is that was right there. What's her name? Arlene? That's it.
Oh, Donna?
Oh, Donna.
Donna.
I keep wanting to call her Eileen, but I don't know why.
Come on, Irene.
It might be
Yeah.
a middle.
Was it the vice president?
Good tune, by the way.
And then Sweet ended up being the,
He's a member.
right, was he the secretary? Did he?
Nope. It goes Jonathan Dudley, chairman.
Yeah.
Donna Son is the vice chairman. And Dan Byer is the secretary.
Oh, he's the secretary, right?
And
yeah,
Joyce is a member.
right.
Bob Sweet's a member, and a select board would be non-voting member.
All right. And the next meeting is scheduled for,
I saw an invite.
Now, that was an old one. I don't know how you sent that out.
Oh, that wasn't me that sent it out.
That wasn't you, the one
No,
about the
no.
February meeting?
No, that was, I don't know. I was laughing to myself that Carl was saying, what is this? You know, we can't do this or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one for Lake Nipmuc is September 19th. It's gonna be the third Wednesday of every month.
okay, so you said September 19th.
Yep.
And where are they held?
Up here, 7 PM.
Yeah, okay.
And so I saw that invite, 'cause it was referencing BOH and Concom, but you weren't looking to specifically get BOH and Concom. That was just a,
No, that was a very old,
That was an old, that was,
Old
yeah.
one.
that
no,
was-
no, not that one.
Yeah.
The one about the 919.
yeah.
Okay, somewhere here. Saw it pop up in, above that communication about that February one.
Mhm.
And I saw the invite pop up. I didn't accept it, but that in the title, it said BOH and Concom. So I didn't know if, if the task force was trying to get BOH and Concom together for that meeting, or if that was, oh,
I have no idea.
it was just
I
designed to
think-
be a regular task force meeting.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know where Kyle dragged that out of. He dragged that out of something, his. thing
Okay,
that was
yeah, that's fine.
Beyond the.
All right, anything else on that topic? All right, let's move on to 2024 permit application discussion.
So at the last meeting, you were not here. We were talking about the tobacco permit application. Right now, it's at $50 per application. Other surrounding towns are charging 150, 200, 250, 300, 500. So we're asking the board to increase our tobacco permit application because now we're gonna be having Jody
Jody,
Briganti coming on to do education and
right.
things.
Okay, so right now we're at 50,
Yes.
all right. As we have followed in the past, what are approximate costs to maintain that program? So how many inspections do we do?
It would be 6 stores.
Yeah, but how many inspections do we do per store?
I think there's an education one first.
Yeah, we're gonna go out and do the retail one first.
Right.
And then after that, then we'll do the compliance checks.
Okay, so what is our approximate expense for those two?
Well, I think we figured out at a few meetings ago that altogether it was gonna be about $1,400.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Right.
about 1,800.
All right, so
1,800, all right, we'll go.
1,800 divided by 6 establishments. So that's $300 a piece to cover our costs. I hate to
Is
go,
that including the juvenile?
to go from 50 to
Oh, yeah.
300.
I hate to go to
Yeah,
that kind of jump too myself, but
that's a huge jump, but.
No,
they've been
no idea
getting-
how long
they've
we've
been
been at
getting
50, probably forever.
Right. They've
well,
been
that's the
getting
thing.
to the-
Like, we've had such a great, another example, we had such a great deal with the Yale Harvey contract on the previous one. This industry changed overnight, and then wham, we got, with the new
Mhm.
contract, the cost went skyrocketed, right? The same
Because
thing,
of
we,
the recycling and all that stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. and
We've been
this is
sitting
the
on-
Same thing, you
Good.
know.
Right,
you know,
good terms.
reduced
We've had good
nominal
terms.
fees
Right.
so long. Maybe we sat on them too long, because now are we actually behind a little bit,
Mhm.
making sure that we're
Quite a
covering
bit.
our actual costs.
Well, everything we've done has been like that. Right? I mean, Lenny was very affordable
He was, yeah.
and we knew it wasn't gonna go on forever.
Yeah.
AJ warned us that
Yeah.
things were gonna change.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself in a pickle because you really need a full-time person.
Right,
And you can't go from where you were to full-time right away. You gotta build into it. So
Yep.
thank you for your patience.
Mhm.
But that's what we've experienced. So, I mean, at this time, I wouldn't be opposed to going to 150. I realize that's a jump from 50, but we're only recovering half of our expense. I don't know how much more we could absorb. And there's no guarantee that we'd ever collect anything on fines or anything like that, and we hope we don't have to fine anybody.
Right.
So, at this time, and, you know, with the knowledge that next year we'd probably have to bump it up 50 more. You know, so it's gonna take us a while.
But again, next year we may be on the grant.
That's right.
All right, so
Well,
that,
we'll be eligible. and-
well, that would be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that might, we might be able to stay right where we are then.
Yeah.
So I guess if we're gonna raise it, we need a motion and a second.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
What are the fines? What was, if they get a fine, how much is that?
So the first offense is $50
Yeah.
and then the second offense is $100.
I just wondered.
Mhm.
Yeah, I forget. It's in our regs somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, they weren't catastrophic. And
No.
again, we don't want to find anybody in that situation. We want to find everybody doing
Educate,
what they're
yeah,
supposed to do.
educate.
Right.
Right,
And that's why we're gonna approach it with the retail education first.
Right.
and then we'll go in after that and do the compliance checks. But give them the opportunity, we'll have the opportunity to sit down with them, educate them, take a look at the store, make sure all the signage is there, make sure everything is, they have their, the cigars and everything locked up and, then after that, sit down with them actually with the tobacco regulations. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Make sure they don't have any
These
questions.
are, exactly.
Right.
These are your tobacco
rules.
regulation, exactly. And then after that, we'll do the compliance checks.
Right. It's,
All right, so in order to recover some of our expense, we need a motion to raise the permit fee for tobacco from 50 to 150 for 2024.
I'll make the motion to increase the fee for the tobacco permit as such.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
That would take effect
January 1st.
January 1, right?
Yes.
And then when does the other thing come into effect? The,
Spit it out there, Joyce.
I can't think of the word. We were just talking about.
Compliance checks.
No, what if the other group comes in and.
Oh, the
they-
grant.
Right.
Grant
It
money.
wouldn't be till next year.
Right.
Yeah, it wouldn't be until next year.
Been drinking too many pink putters.
Next topic.
Next topic is the health agents report.
Ta-da.
Oh, yeah, here. Have them. Save me one, please. Thank you.
Both of them, yeah.
Both of them passed. Got it.
Well, we already discussed, unless you want to go back, 10 Northbridge in Street and 40 North Ave. We're closely monitoring both properties. Like I said before, both property owners have been very, very cooperative and they're eager to comply with bringing the septic systems into compliance. Really, truly, it's been a pleasure working with them and continue to monitor them, and we'll report to the board as to their progress. 8 Hastings Street, this was on here. This was one of the streets I think that you had asked for closure on, Tom.
Yeah, this is the one that involved a complaint we'd received about the rabbit hutches that are at the adjacent property.
Yep.
The abutting
Yeah,
property.
I remember the
Um,
address.
And I believe in an email thread, but I don't know if it was ever confirmed, the individual mentioned something about if we could get them to follow a maintenance schedule,
schedule.
maybe so many days to do a clean out of some
Including their
kind.
rabbit cages, yeah.
Had that been presented?
Danielle made that clear to them when she did her inspection.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's been communicated.
Yes,
As far as we know, we haven't had any
no issues since then.
further communication from the abutter.
Yep.
That's good, okay, that's cool.
8 Cape Road, from what I understand, is on Danielle's list to revisit, right, Jack?
Correct.
Yep,
So
she
that's
asked.
still ongoing.
Yep, that one's still ongoing.
That's been going. Well, that's a year. Holy mackerel.
Back to August of 2022, yeah.
We can check with her and see. I know that we discussed it with her,
Weeks ago.
yeah, 2 weeks ago. With regards to 10 Cape Road, we received the pest control report from Milford Exterminating as a result of the tenant's complaint of the rodent and bug infestation. The report is attached. Pretty much the long and the short of it is that they didn't find any type of signs of wildlife activity. What they did find was large droppings on the second floor on a braided rug that looks to, in their opinion, to be from a dog that resides in the home. The droppings had the same hair color as the dog that lives in the home. The Milford Exterminating inspected each room and found no signs of wildlife living inside the home. They also walked the perimeter of the home and they found no signs of wildlife or any type of points of entry of for the wildlife.
So is this a tenant, owner, game?
There's it appears that from when the property owner was before the board, when was it? Was it a month ago, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, a month ago, that there is some sort of a relationship issue there with regards to the individual that's residing there now was hired to take care of the property owner's elderly father. And the father has since gone into a nursing home. And so the tenant is still there.
Is this, the Volvo?
Yes, yes, yep. So the tenant is still there. She raised issues initially in early winter, right? Of this past year. And then again, she filed a complaint with the Board of Health on August 21st, stating that there was yellow water on the property. Myself and Dan went up and the water was clear that day, but come to find out that the pumper truck had filled up their pumper a couple of times, so that was the culprit for that.
Stirred something up in the pipes.
Yeah. And you remember that there was also a complaint in July about the septic system. The toilet was backing up and we found what the culprit was for that. And we also did note some violations of the state sanitary code. There was the water in the upstairs bathroom was too hot. So you just needed to turn that down. I went there the other day. I tested it. The water is fine now. There was a handrail that was missing going down into the cellar.
Remember the picture?
There's really no reason for that tenant. There's no laundry down there or anything like that. But there should be a handrail there, so we did make note of that. There was also the upstairs on the second floor by the bathroom, there was a louver door. And it looked like someone maybe just put their hand through it or something. So that door has, right, been removed. And then, oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. I knew there was something else. So she had, alleged that there was mold on the wall in one of the downstairs bedrooms that are not occupied. She does not occupy that bedroom. It was in, where the two walls meet, and it was there was a dark area there. Well, it was dirt. And, I got some cleaner, paper towel, and that was the end of it. So I did a final inspection there for those violations on Monday. And I'm happy to report that the property owner has brought the property into compliance. There are no outstanding issues there.
Awesome. Excellent. Great.
So as
So
far
we
as,
got rid of the tenant?
not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. But as far as our complaints go and the
Right, yeah.
complaints that were filed with our office, we have done our due diligence.
Good girl.
Thank you.
Yep. 9 Blackstone Street, a complaint was received on August 14th from a son of one of the tenants about his mother's unit was infested with bed bugs. Dan went up there and reached out to the executive director of the property. We requested copies of the recent pest control reports. And the reports submitted, I personally spoke with Milford Exterminating. They identified 2 units that were being treated, and basically they identified that a couch in one of the units was possibly the culprit. Also that they thought that maybe apparently the son brings his laundry and does his laundry up there, and they're wondering if the bed bugs are traveling with the
His,
laundry.
Sheets.
Yeah, so
Right, sure.
I spoke with Jackie Macalini up there, and they are on top of it. They are aware of it. They've shut down the activities room because the individual was going in there and sitting on the upholstered furniture and they found bed bug activity there, so they treated the whole place. They've since closed it off. The other concern that Milford Exterminated and expressed to me in my conversation, and I also discussed it with Jackie, was that these two units in particular have a lot of stuff in their units. A lot of stuff in their
Hoarding
units, so,
stuff.
yeah, so Jack and I sent them over the hoarding index that we created and we have them laminated. We're gonna give some to the cruises and to the fire department too, so that they can identify and report to the board. You know, they go from 1 to 10 and,
Didn't know there was such a thing.
oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep, Jack laminated them and we have them on rings. The rings just came in, we put them through, we're gonna deliver them. So if they have to communicate to the board, say like, you know, they go to a house, you know, for a welfare check or whatever reason, or rescue, and they go in and they're like, wow, and they can call up and say, hey, you know, Jack, hey, Colleen, you know, I'm at such and such an address and I'm looking at a 4. You know, so we'll know that we need to go on site and start the process
Right.
of assisting those individuals with that issue. So I sent them up to Sunrise Apartments and Jackie, we emailed them to her, right? And Jackie's gonna take a look at it and she's gonna let us know. The other thing that Milford Exterminating also suggested and is volunteering to do, and I spoke with Jackie about it, they may have already done it, to be honest with you,
That's a
but
good idea, yeah.
they were going to go up and speak with the tenants about what brings bed bugs,
Right. Good idea.
which I thought was a really good idea.
Now, is Marcolini, she Milford Housing or?
Yes,
She's Milford Housing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep, she works with Laurie
Oh,
Braza. Yep, both of them super cooperative. I mean,
Right.
right on it. They're aware of it. And we'll keep on monitoring it and I'll check in with them. Matter of fact, I owe them a phone call, to be honest with you.
that's nice, thanks.
Cool. Yeah. How did the how does the housing authority feel about the son bringing his laundry to their facility?
They don't, and they were gonna address it.
Yeah.
Cause they're just traveling back and forth, you know, and come to find out too, the 2 units in question are, very friendly and they hang out together, so. You know,
Yeah, unfortunately.
Mix and match.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised, I mean, you know,
No,
but,
I wouldn't, I have been
mm,
in the,
they travel, like, I mean, if you open up like the electric outlet, you'll see. it.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
it's
Yeah, yeah.
like,
And they just, it's a highway.
oh, yeah,
Wow.
they're hitchhikers,
yeah,
they got their thumb out,
are always there, always
Yeah.
ready.
yeah,
Son of a gun.
invasive little creatures.
Buggers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I haven't personally experienced.
Knock
it.
on something right
Yeah.
now, on wood preferably,
Yeah.
because they're very difficult. Very, my nephew was going to Northeastern and he would come home like every other college student and bring his laundry home with him, and guess what he brought home?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yep, went right through my brother's house. My brother took every piece of furniture, every rug in that house, drapery, all their clothes, everything
Wow.
gone. And started over. He was disgusted.
well, it is disgusting.
Mm,
And to pay that kind of tuition.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
All right, thank you. That's enlightening.
36 Washington Street, this was a complaint, that was received by the property owner about putting manure piles, from the horses into the wetlands. I'm not sure, I guess that the Conservation Commission was notified of it.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that complaint.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
There was an expectation that, well, I know they try to set up some sort of a
A
meet,
walkthrough,
a
yeah.
walkthrough.
Yep.
Which I don't
It
think
didn't
ever
happen, no.
happened. So do we have an end result?
End result is that anyone out there took pictures, sent us her walkthrough. We sent it to Concom.
right.
Yeah, I received a phone call from the acting town administrator a while ago now, wanting to be updated on the situation from the Board of Health point of view. And I pretty much, what you're reading is what I told him.
Right.
Along with the fact that it was no longer a Board of Health issue,
Okay.
that it, you know, had been passed on to conservation. And I don't know where it went from there, but the complaint continued to
Nowhere.
come in. To my knowledge, he got on top of that and got the attention of conservation. And I thought I heard that photos had been exchanged with Concom, and whether or not they did a physical inspection or they just went off the pictures. The statement was made that there was a picture, I guess, in the skunk cabbage right next to the manure, that yes, that's conservation land. But I can't tell you where, that's wetland. I can't tell you where it went from there. I mean, we did everything from the Board of Health
Yes,
side that we could possibly do
Right.
on that. I was told that conservation's had issues keeping a clerk in their apartment, and that may be the disconnect. And that the town administrator was working on filling that hole.
But, oh, they couldn't put one member out there?
Well, we do have, Jason on the call. Jason?
Yep, I'm here.
So, question, I don't know if you were aware, is select board aware of any, pending, appointments that might be coming, for Concom in terms of hiring an admin person or direction that is being looked at? Would you have any insight on it?
Yeah, they're trying to get somebody up in front of the board by September 20th. That's the next select board meeting. And the next conservation meeting is tomorrow night. And I believe they're gonna talk about, they've done interviews already, and they're gonna talk about those interviews at the meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah, so I guess my experience with this particular complaint has been, well, I mean, like always, when people come before us because they weren't able to get where they
Yeah.
needed to go, we've always tried to do everything we could to assist them.
absolutely.
But there comes a point where things are not under our umbrella,
Right,
and
right.
all we can do is suggest that they reach out to
Get
the
a new
town
umbrella.
administrator and ask for some assistance in where to go to get some relief.
Mhm.
So, that's it. All right. Food establishment concerns, none at this time. Restaurant inspections, those are always on
Rotating, yep,
okay.
yep. We did the schools. The schools are all set. As they opened up, working with a couple of establishments myself.
When's the next time you go to Lowe's?
I just was gonna say the same thing.
I met with them.
Yeah,
Yep, I met with Lydia last Thursday.
That's Thursday.
okay.
Yep, and I'm scheduled to go there next Friday. No, I met with her on Friday. Last Friday, I'm
Okay.
scheduled to go there. Not this coming Friday, not a week from tomorrow.
Okay,
I know, I guess.
last inspection,
Everything's fine.
things went a little
Right.
rough.
Yep,
And it looked like there may have been some reoccurring issues when we went
Mhm.
back a couple reports, so I just want to make sure that everything goes smooth, so
yep, nope, I had, but Lydia, her husband and myself sat down and we had a wonderful conversation. And met with the staff and everything, and we discussed some things and expectations. Lydia's on board with it. I have to say that they've done a fantastic job.
good. When I responded that day and I spoke to her, even though things had become a little heated, she was, you know, very easy to talk to and very responsive, and That's why I wanted to do some background information and find out how long some of these things may have been cropping up. But it would be really nice if everything would fall in
Fine.
play and
Yep.
it wouldn't ruin her day or ours.
No, not at all, not at all.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Glad
no,
to hear.
everything's moving along quite nicely.
Good.
Awesome.
Topics not anticipated.
Well, one question, I know that you were gonna check on it, status of that wording that we're gonna make a change on to the booster regulations.
I haven't heard back from, Wolf yet.
Okay,
Okay, the only thing I have is, getting on the agenda with the finance committee.
I was talking to Jody about that this morning,
Awesome,
and I was talking to Tom about that yesterday.
even better.
I emailed the chairman and the vice chairman at their Mendon MA email, but I don't know how often they check it. That was back in July. And I never got a response, but Tom's gonna reach out to the vice chairman
Okay,
since he knows him pretty
who
good.
is the chairman?
Michael Krieger,
Krieger, yeah.
Krieger is the
And who is the
chairman, and
vice chairman?
Mike Jones is the vice,
Mike Jones? Okay,
and Mike's the one I know. I
yeah,
know Mike Jones.
right, the electrician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want that opportunity to go by, and I did notice that we have a special town meeting scheduled.
We do.
November.
And I believe the warrant is open for that, if
Correct.
I read correctly.
Yeah.
So I don't know how fast. I mean, I don't want to rush it and do the wrong thing.
I think that might be kind of quick
Yeah.
for a special town
Well,
meeting.
wasn't that November 5th or something?
I thought it was the 19th or something, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's November. I mean, it's
in
not that far
November,
away.
right? And the thing is still open.
Okay,
I'd be thinking more in line for the ATM, but
well, I was originally.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that we were gonna end up with a special, but, what was Jody's response? What was that conversation?
I asked her about it. She brought up more special requirements,
Mm-hmm.
but she said she was gonna talk to the board and lay out what needs to be done
Okay,
and how much to ask for. She goes, usually revolving accounts, they're like 5,000, 10,000, 25,000.
right.
But for ask for like hundreds of thousands for revolving accounts, there may be new stipulations involved.
Okay. Yeah, in my inexperience in doing something like this, my mind is just thinking that if we started with the finance committee, because they're the ones that seem to, a few years back, show some interest in the way things were set up and how to kind of resolve some of those things. This is back when Mike Maroli was the chairman at that time. So I figured we'd start with them and then consult with Jody.
Mhm.
And then we might have to, go back and forth a few times until we get it fine tuned. And we may even have to consult, the town administrator, get, the town administrator, even though he's temporary, get his input on what we're trying to accomplish so that we're completely prepared for when the annual warrant comes out. I just happened to see tonight when I was thumbing through the free press
Right, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that
They
there
were
was a
there.
special
right, yeah.
town
right.
meeting, but I have no idea how long it would take to put this together correctly. I think the last time we tried, it was kind of a rush, and that might have been why things didn't go as well as we would have liked, because we didn't know whether we needed an enterprise account or whether we needed a revolving account. And we kind of learned through the process that an enterprise account wasn't for us, but a revolving account was.
Well, the question's gonna come down to what we're considering here. It's a very large sum of money.
Mhm.
It's a very large element of the budget. And how that would weigh with being able to obtain that as a revolving account.
Yeah, we need to do the conversations and the research, because it's not taxpayer money. And I mean, when you think about like the dumpster fees that were incurred, for Rock the Block. Those dumpsters and the tip fees that comes out of subscriber money, not taxpayer money. The disposal of all the trash cans, again, comes out of subscriber money, not taxpayer money. So without hurting the taxpayers, we just want to define, or I know I would like to define things a little better so that we could be, we can measure our progress better. It's all about accountability. If we're constantly giving money back and it's going into the,
General fund.
yeah, the general fund, then are we overcharging our subscribers? Are we not fine tuning that price that we're charging our subscribers? And we have an obligation to try to do that as close as you can. On the other hand, if we do it under and we have to go to the taxpayers to ask for money to pay for the bill, that's not right either.
Mhm.
So I think it's just again, it's probably a matter of being able to be accountable.
For that and allocating correctly.
Right.
Yeah, Jason said that I should email the FinCom directly instead of individually. And I should CC in the town administrator, and the special town meeting is on November 6th at 7 PM.
Yeah, so there's no way we would be ready for that.
Mm-mm.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
But let's not let that opportunity go by. And one discussion isn't gonna get us to the finish line. So we need to get that initial one out there. Because they're gonna have questions for us and they might not even be able to provide us with those questions that night. They might come to us and then we have to work on the answers and go back to them. But, you know, it would give us an opportunity to be as self-supporting as possible.
Well, this conversation actually could fall in line with the conversation that select board's having with regard to a realignment within the town. And one of the components that came up, you know, we watched that presentation from the Collins Center that Mike asked us to a few meetings back.
Mhm.
And it was, one of the things that was presented was, you know, the trash recycle program, should that be something that should stay within the domain of the Board of Health? Me personally, I'm not married to that program. So if it was thought that it would be better to associate it with, say, highway, if there's consideration for kind of turning that highway into something a little more structured that involves parks, recreation, and, you know, incorporating that program into whatever the thoughts might be, then that in of itself could alleviate the whole discussion of us having a revolving account for something that powers that be might actually are thinking about shifting.
Yeah, I think right now my responsibility to that program and to seeing it be successful is we put so much time and effort into it
Oh, yeah.
that I want to see it continue to be successful and continue to be a good value for the subscribers.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure I'm fully on board with what the Collins Center was recommending.
Well, I think in
But-
part, it has to do with what, and I understand where they're coming from with respect to this, that there's so many different aspects of a Board of Health. And there are probably some things that we as a board don't possibly touch on or follow through on maybe as much as we might, as much as maybe we should from a public health perspective. The trash program, you know, one could argue is, yes, is a health element, but it's a municipal function, right? And there's a lot of communities that run their trash program through the DPW, through the highway department, which would allow
Well, the highway department and the DPW are very different.
structurally, right? And that's part of the discussion that has been happening, whether or not there's consideration here for restructuring and going that way in the town amendment. And if that is the case, then potentially the discussion would end up involving possibly moving that trash recycle program under a DPW type of a structure. In the interim, we need to do what we need to do to keep it, keep it running good. We certainly want to make sure it continues to be a good program, but there's a possibility, depending how things move, where one day we could see it, a desire to shift it away from us.
Yeah, Department of Public Works has a lot of staff.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
I personally don't see the town being able to ever afford that many bodies.
understood. There's a lot of moving parts that would have to come into play
They don't
there.
have enough bodies to run highway department, unfortunately, because of money constraints.
Yep, understood. Yeah.
And I don't know what the fix is.
Yeah.
But it seems to be a reoccurring element.
Yeah.
I mean, we spend all kinds of money around here and the Parks Department doesn't have the staff or time to cut the grass. Not that Dan doesn't want to do it, or that he doesn't drive by it 10 times a day and see that it needs to be done. There's just so many hours in a day and there's so much staff and resources to get it done. We have a hard time, we make improvements and then we have a hard time maintaining those improvements.
Are you speaking specifically to this?
I'm talking about right here, right now.
So my understanding is that for the first year, it's not the town's responsibility to maintain it.
Huh, that's interesting.
If I
Yeah,
heard
it's the
correctly?
people who put it in, they're watering and cutting it.
Where are they?
I think I said they were here last week cutting it.
I know at some point there'll be a handoff.
Right.
I
That is common. Sometimes I've bid jobs where you have to maintain them for a year,
prepared. So
but I'm just wondering, guess where they are.
That's not looking very good.
Good crop of weeds.
Yeah.
Of course, weeds are in this.
Could ask, Jason, do you have any commentary on this subject?
I don't know the exact details. I do believe that David, the intern town administrator, was explaining to us that the grounds need to be reseeded again after the spring or in the spring. And so this initial treatment is for erosion control in order to just sort of like keep it there. And then they're going to come back and hydroseed again in the spring as like the final grass laying. I don't know what the exact agreement is for the maintenance, however.
Thank you.
Yep.
Fortunately, we seem to run into that issue.
Yep.
And there's just not enough bodies and resources to
Right.
get it all done.
Well, a lot of it comes down to finances, money.
But they're the ones that,
If that's the case, it should be somebody being able to say, hey, this deal, but it sounds like there's some plans here to,
Yeah, there must be a contract
Yeah.
with a schedule of events that the town administrator is following, and that must have been the original proposal.
Yeah.
As to how they were gonna handle things. All right, next meeting is already set, right? What do we got?
September 27th.
7:30?
30.
yeah, now speaking to that time, we at a point yet where we can shift that start time?
my golf is over.
So you want to go 7?
Well, I'm thinking now from your perspective with your work schedule,
7 is fine with me.
is any earlier?
Once we get into November.
Okay, so, but at least now for the first couple of
Yeah,
months.
or I'll let you know as soon as I can if you
No, no,
want to
no,
go to,
sure,
if you
sure.
want to go to 6:30.
I mean.
Yeah, right now I would say 7,
Okay, that's fine.
maybe for a week or two, and then
Yep.
we could shorten it up.
What's the date, September?
27th,
Is that earlier time?
we're going at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Right, 7 o'clock, everybody.
7 o'clock.
7?
7 for next
7
meeting?
o'clock next
Okay,
meeting.
next meeting, 7 o'clock.
And as soon as I can go to 6:30, I'd be more than happy to do that.
You know, at some point we end up 6, right?
Did we,
To the winter
did we,
hours.
did we get to 6? We might have. No,
6 is a
it was
little,
always
it's a little tough.
No, 6:30, always the earliest we have to.
I didn't think 6, I think 7 was the earliest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for some reason, for some reason.
I never made it home before 9 o'clock. ever.
Yeah, no, for some reason, I think I can remember, I think AJ brought it up.
Maybe I'm just trying to plant a seed.
Well, that's all right. Fall is for planting, right? We just said that.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Better than
Well, I want to thank Jason. Thank you very much for being in attendance tonight.
Yes, thank you.
And I know we have a
Thank
guest.
you.
Thank you very much for listening in. Hope it was informative. And Jason, thank you for your insight on some of those things. Much appreciated.
Motion to adjourn.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
All right, thank you very much. Second the motion.
Joyce made the motion.
I second.
All right, thank you.
It's in the record. Good night, all.
Thank you. Is Jason our Board of Select Board rep?
I
We do not know yet.